Ethos. Signing up was fast.
Let's do this. It's the real Jonathan Smith Show on Indie Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indie Sports Ticket app.
It's nice to be back. Hopefully you had a nice long weekend. If you had Friday off, we had Friday off. It was great. I took Monday off as well. Went down to good old Chattanooga, saw the family, added a refrigerator jumper to the bunch, Chris. So my family has this, I don't know if it's a long-standing tradition, but when I was a child, my uncle used to take us, put us on the top of our grandparents' refrigerator, and we would jump off. I don't know if your family does anything like that. Ever did? Probably not.
I mean, I'm mixed, but even the white side of my family didn't do that, Jonathan.
Okay. So I've got two nephews. One is old enough. And so we threw him up there. He had a blast. We jumped off the fridge for hours. I'm so serious. Because he's 3, and 3-year-olds think stuff like that's fun.
Not so much that, but why are we jumping off the refrigerator? What joy?
That's what my uncles did to me growing up. And so I was like, we got to keep the tradition going.
Like just onto the ground, or are you jumping into?
No. We're catching them for full. Yeah. No. We are catching them. They're jumping into an adult's arms. Promise.
You're from Arkansas?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Weird traditions in Arkansas.
I mean, I don't know anyone else who does this. So I think it's just a Smith thing. So if you have any weird family traditions, let us know. I'd be intrigued to hear. Welcome into the real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indie Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in. No matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, Indie Sports Ticket, if you want to head over there and subscribe, you can watch the show on X _ Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on that Indie Sports Ticket app. So in addition to jumping off of the refrigerator growing up, I also grew up in church. I've stayed in church. Shout out to Emmanuel down there in Greenwood. You are invited as always, but I'll never forget being a child, going to church, running around with my friends after service, and my mom saying, Jonathan, other siblings, it's time for us to go home. And then we would walk for the door, and then my mom would see one of her friends, and then she would stop, and she would talk for like 15 to 20 minutes to one of her friends. All the while, I would be standing there thinking, hey, Mom, do you remember when you said that we were leaving? We actually going to do that or not? If not, like, me and my friends had plans to go jump off the fridge in the kitchen. So if we're going to be here, that would be nice to know. That's how I think everyone felt about the Giannis trade until the news broke late last night. It was frustrating. I finished prepping the show, sat down to play video games, as I do to end my evenings. And then the Shams tweet came through, and I was like, gosh dang, I had to pause my game and everything. Okay? So first, Giannis wants to leave. And then he's like, no. Let me stay. And because of that, he didn't get traded at the trade deadline in February when he almost ended up going to Minnesota. Sunday, though, we finally get these reports that the Giannis trade was expected to be happening in the next 48 hours. It finally happened. Jimmy Haslam, Bucks owner or co-owner, came out and said he wanted to get the deal done before the draft. Congratulations to them. They did. Congratulations to the Miami Heat. They finally got their guy, and I'm glad they did. I think the Bucks made a mistake in the trade partner that they chose. I would have taken the Boston Celtics offer if I was the Bucks. I know Giannis wanted to go to Miami more than he wanted to go anywhere else. But when you're making a move like this, you have to have the interest of the franchise in mind first, not the interest of the player that you're trading. The Bucks, I think, failed on that front. If you missed the news, Miles Turner's getting several more teammates. Here's the breakdown of the trade. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis go to Miami for Tyler Hero, Indiana legend Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparas Yakushionis, 3 first-round picks, including the number 13 pick in this year's NBA draft, which is tonight, by the way. 1 pick swap and 1 second-rounder. Let's start with the Miami side of this. Miami basically just bought a massive multi-million-dollar mansion, but had to sell all their furniture, their car, and their kitchen appliances just to afford the down payment. Sure, the house looks incredible from the outside, but they're sleeping on the floor in sleeping bags they got from Dollar General. Miami completely gutted their roster for Giannis. So for the Pacers, I am so glad that Giannis got sent to Miami. Because Bam Adebayo, Giannis, maybe Norman Powell, who they're probably not going to be able to re-sign in free agency because he's going to be so expensive, Andrew Wiggins and Heat culture don't exactly scare me as much as the combination of Jason Tatum, Giannis, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and the rest of the role players that Boston has. Okay? Now, facing Miami is not like fighting a heavyweight boxer who doesn't have a corner crew. If you can just survive the big punches, which is Miami's starting lineup, they're going to get exhausted, and you can beat them. Facing, Boston with Giannis would have been like trying to fight a swarm of hornets. Also, since Jaylen Brown's name was publicly reported in the trade, here come all the Jaylen Brown rumors. That's not going to sit well. We'll get to that in a minute. But depth has been a theme of the past 2 NBA finals. The Pacers and Thunder 2 finals ago were deep teams. The Pacers were playing like 9 or 10 players. The Thunder were playing 9 or 10. Depth was important. The Knicks and Spurs this year were deep teams. The Miami Heat are no longer a deep team, and they forfeited their 13th pick this year to add to the depth that they now desperately need. They sent away 3 of their top 8 players and their lottery pick from last year. Oh, and their lottery pick this year. All of that in exchange for a 31-year-old superstar who's had injuries pile up over the last few seasons. Trading for Giannis right now is like buying a high-end luxury sports car with 150,000 miles on it. It looks beautiful sitting in the driveway, but you are absolutely terrified every time the engine makes a funny noise. Every time Giannis hits the deck, people in Miami are going to be holding their breath. They need more depth. Also, Bobby Portis, he's 31. He's a good player, but he can't be your best player off the bench. You're in trouble. You need a little bit more than that. Okay, they don't have a backup center right now. So congrats on getting Giannis, but I'm not sure the Miami Heat are a title contender in an Eastern Conference with the Indiana Pacers, Boston Celtics, New York Knicks, and Detroit Pistons. I'd take all four of those teams right now over Miami. And I may take the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. So congratulations to Giannis as well. You went from a bad team in Milwaukee where it's cold to a below average team in Miami where it's warm. So congratulations on the weather upgrade. Doesn't feel like he upgraded on much more than that. Because part of the issue in Milwaukee was they didn't have the assets to build around Giannis. And now Giannis is in a place where Miami doesn't have the assets to build around him. What you see is what you get. So if I'm Giannis, I would have rather have gone to Boston. And if I'm the Bucks, I can't believe that they didn't take the Celtics offer. Because when you look at what they got from Miami, where's the hope? There is no hope. They're all Colts fans now. They're dreading the next regular season when it comes around. The Celtics offered Jaylen Brown and 2 first-round picks. So it's one less pick. But the Bucks are going to have to get incredibly lucky with in their deal with Miami to find a player as good as Jaylen Brown. I know he's 29, but at worst, you trade Jaylen Brown for more picks. By the way, that's what the Bucks are about to do. They are reportedly shopping Tyler Hero. They're going to flip him for more stuff. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you would have gotten more for Jaylen Brown than you would have gotten for Tyler Hero. Milwaukee could have gotten the 2 firsts from Boston and then flipped Jaylen Brown for 3 more. Instead, they got a bunch of scraps from the Heat. Milwaukee chose to trade a crisp, pristine $100 bill for a handful of crumpled up $5 bills, some loose quarters, and a couple of expired gift cards. Tyler Hero's a good player, but he's a one-time All-Star. Everyone else that they got is a rotation player at best. Jaime Jaquez, I like him. Good player off the bench. Khalil Ware is a stretch 5 who can protect the rim. Everybody is looking for one of those. So, great job. Good for you. But that's really it. That's really it. Okay, I personally would have preferred to get the superstar and 2 first-round picks than one solid player in Tyler Hero, some scraps and 3 first-round picks. Kasparis Giannis couldn't even get on the floor for Miami last year. I mean, come on now. We'll see how this plays out. Maybe, Giannis goes to Milwaukee and he's, he ends up being a good player. Maybe whoever Milwaukee gets with the 10th and 13th pick turns into a star. Probably not. But I really don't feel like there's a real winner in this trade. Like, I don't think that the Bucks got anything for them to build around for the future. They don't have anything in the trade that they can hang their hat on. And then Miami, yeah, you got Giannis, but you don't have much else. That's it. Okay? The Heat got more name recognition. I don't know if that's really what you're looking for when you make a trade. They also got an older player with recent injury struggles that's going to be asked to do everything like he was in Milwaukee. Miami doesn't have a second offensive option right now that I love. Because guess what? Norman Powell has a chance he doesn't come back. I'm interested to see how Giannis looks next to Bam, who can't space the floor. I have a lot of questions about how the Heat are going to put this together. Looking at their roster right now, I don't think it makes a ton of sense. I don't think they have the proper spacing around Giannis. Then for Milwaukee, they're going to be bad. And the Blazers are overjoyed about that because they have all of Milwaukee's picks. Also, the Bucks don't have a star. They could have added one with Jaylen Brown. Speaking of Jaylen Brown, the loser in all of this are the Boston Celtics. Boston basically just accidentally texted their their current girlfriend a text that was meant for their ex, and now they're trying to survive the fallout. You ever do that, Chris? You ever send a text to someone and be like, crap, that wasn't for them?
Who hasn't?
Me. I'm very careful.
Okay. Well, it's not fun.
It's not.
It's as advertised.
It's a lot of screaming and yelling.
It's interesting, to say the least, for sure.
There you go.
I'm not going to get into details.
Okay. Nice. Good. Jaylen Brown's not going to be happy that his name was in the trade. It already seemed like he wanted out. Now I'm willing to bet that he's going to get out. It's going to happen. I don't think he's going to be a Boston Celtic for much longer. Here's a team, maybe. The Minnesota Timberwolves. They traded away Julius Randle yesterday. They've got a $33 million trade exception that freed up a lot of cap space for them. They have the space now to bring in a Jaylen Brown or another star, I suppose, if there's another disgruntled star out there. But they were a potential landing spot for Giannis back in February around the trade deadline. Minnesota's looking to make a move. So the Giannis sweepstakes are over. Let's get into the Jaylen Brown sweepstakes, I guess. Not really. I think I'm cool on sweepstakes for a while. IU fan talking about Khalil Ware being a good NBA player. He is. You need a player like Khalil Ware on your roster. I think Miles Turner's excited about the trade. He's now the best player in Milwaukee. Actually, I don't know if that's true or not. It's probably Tyler Hero. But will Tyler Hero be 2 hours late for the plane like Miles Turner said Giannis always was? I don't know. We'll see if that happens or not. But he's got to be excited. He's going to get to take more shots. For people asking about where Julius Randle ended up, he got sent to Brooklyn, which is just got to be brutal, terrible. The Knicks just won the title. Now you got to go play for Brooklyn, a team absolutely no one cares about. But yeah, just a lot of stuff going on. We got a text on the text line 317-228-1430. If you want to text there, someone asking if Braden Smith is going to get minutes for the Heat next year. If they draft him, I don't know if the Heat have a second round pick this year? It's a good question because they have picks number 13, or they had pick number 13. They also have pick number 41. We'll see if he falls that far. It's a real possibility because they need guys who can come in and play. Like, I'll be honest, if I was Miami, I would probably want to take a center before I took a 5'10" guard who has to have the ball. Because guess what, Braden Smith, you're not going to have the ball when you're playing with Bam Adebayo and Giannis. So if they draft him, sure, but they've got guards. They got Davion Mitchell. They had a backup guard that they took in the second round out of Arizona. He was the 44th pick last year. Isn't it weird how I remember everything about him, but I can't for the life of me remember his name? Jeez. His name is Pele Larson. There it is. He had some nice, moments here and there. Drew Smith's a decent player. So I don't know if they really need a guard. So I don't know if Braden Smith makes a ton of sense for them. They need a center. That's what they need. We'll see if they take that at pick 41 tomorrow, because we had the first round of the NBA draft tonight. We're going to have Joseph George on at 1 o'clock to talk about the NBA draft. Very excited about that. And, I just want to keep going over the draft. It kicks off tonight. And while everyone's falling in love with, 42-inch verticals, I want the guy who moves like silk. That's Cam Boozer. He's the best player in this class. I'll continue to tell you why in 3 minutes.
If it's in today's sports world, it's here. The real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Coming up at 1 o'clock, we'll have Joseph George, who writes for the Silver Bulletin, does a really good job covering the NBA. He's been doing a great job covering the draft as well. He joins the show at 1 o'clock. The NBA draft starts tonight. I think the NBA draft is going in this order. I think A.J. DeBonce is going to go number 1. I think the Jazz are going to take Darren Peterson at 2. The Grizzlies will take Cam Boozer at 3. And then Caleb Wilson will go 4th to the Bulls. With that being said, I think Cam Boozer is going to be the best player in this draft class. In the future, teams are going to travel to Memphis, and staying in that hotel will be their second biggest problem because they're going to be dealing with Cam Boozer. For those who don't get that reference, the hotels in Memphis apparently suck. Again, Cam Boozer is going to be the best player in this draft class. Everyone is talking about his lack of athleticism. And I think that's insane. Cam Boozer is a great athlete. Do you know who else is a great athlete? Jalen Brunson. And I say that, and people say, Jalen Brunson has like a vertical of 30 inches, and Anthony Richardson can dunk a basketball, and Jalen Brunson cannot. Basketball is about so much more than being able to dunk and being able to jump high. Okay, Cam Boozer's a great athlete. He's just so fluid and smooth, you can't tell. He's not as explosive of an athlete as the other 3 top 4 prospects, but basketball is more about lateral movement and agility than it is explosiveness. You can play below the rim in the NBA for a long time, but as soon as your lateral quickness and agility leave, you're screwed. Explosiveness in the NBA is like horsepower in a sports car. Looks great on paper, sounds awesome when you rev the engine, but lateral agility, that's the steering and the brakes. Much more important than horsepower. A car that can only go 0 to 60 in a straight line is going to crash very quickly. I think Cam Boozer handles the corners better than any of the other top 4 prospects. For example, Caleb Wilson is regarded as the athletic freak of this draft class. 6'10", 39.5-inch vertical. That's why he's going to go 4th overall. When you hear people talk about him, none of it's about basketball. It's all about the measurements and the potential that he possesses. Drafting Caleb Wilson is like buying a house strictly because it has a massive backyard. Sure, the footprint's huge, but you still have to build the actual house, and it has to be nice, and you have to be able to live in it. With A.J. DeBonce, I don't mind him going first because he's already a really good basketball player. If people have him as the top guy in this draft, I get it because he's really good. Okay? Very athletic, but also has a really nice feel for the game. The knock on Boozer is he's not a great athlete. Here's how he compares to Caleb Wilson and some of the other guys and the other 3 top 4 prospects. Okay, so in terms of size compared to Caleb Wilson, he's 3/4 of an inch shorter, but his wingspan is 1.5 inches longer. Or excuse me, 1.25 inches longer. That's a lot. 1.25 inches? Watch out. Cam Boozer also moves better. He had better times in the lane agility and the shuttle run than Caleb Wilson did. Here's something crazy. Cam Boozer had a better lane agility time than Darren Peterson, who's a guard and weighs like 50 pounds less than Cam Boozer does. And Darren Peterson only beat him by 0.4 of a second in the shuttle run. Now, maybe Darren Peterson was cramping, but I think if that was the case, he wouldn't have done any of those tests at the combine. Cam Boozer also had the same lane agility and shuttle run time as A.J. DeBonce, who's supposed to be this superhuman athlete. Okay, now, there's 2 reasons, I think, why people think that Cam Boozer's not a great athlete. 1, Cam Boozer is bigger and he's thicker. And bigger athletes always appear to be moving slower than they actually are. Think about a freight train versus a dirt bike. The dirt bike looks like it's flying because it's loud and it's twitchy and it's small. The freight train looks like it's just cruising. But if you check the speedometer, it's going like 100 miles an hour. You just can't tell because of the sheer size of it. Boozer has like 30 pounds on AJ DeBonsa and moved just as well as he did at the combine. That's incredible. We talk about that with the offensive linemen all the time. Oh, that guy's 6'6", 300 pounds, and he just ran a 4.9 40. What in the world? Cam Boozer weighs like 30 to 40 more pounds than Caleb Wilson does, and he moves faster than he does. Second, smoothness doesn't always look fast. Like, if you watch Shai Gilgeous-Alexander play basketball, he does not look fast or quick when he has the ball, yet no one can stay in front of him. And defensively, he stays in front of most guys because he is incredibly quick. He's just a very smooth and fluid mover. I think Cam Boozer falls in the same category as a smooth mover that is much quicker than you realize when you actually see him in person as opposed to on TV. Now, all three of those other guys did jump higher than Cam Boozer did. That's great. I mean, Cam Boozer still jumped 35 inches at 250 pounds. That's kind of insane. But again, all those guys jumped higher. Great for them. Okay. Do you know what guys do more than anything else in basketball when you play the game? Chris, what do you think guys do more than anything else when they play basketball?
Flop.
Go.
Flop.
Nice. Great joke. Great joke. Seriously, though, don't overthink.
Okay.
They're constantly doing this.
Running?
Yes, they're moving. That's what you do more than anything else when you play basketball. You move, you cut, and you react to the different movements that the offense or defense makes. Cam Boozer at 250 pounds is the most fluid mover of the top four prospects. I would also argue he's the best basketball player of the bunch. He's the best passer. He shot 39% from three. He did everything for Duke. He brought the ball up the floor because his brother, a point guard, couldn't. He was a double-digit rebounder. He averaged 22 points per game. He hit threes. He scored on the block. He beat guys off the bounce. He played through guys' chests. I understand it doesn't look the same. And we get caught up so often in how things look. This happens a lot. But smooth movement doesn't pop the same way a 42-inch vertical does, but it's more important. And I say that because the NBA is more of a perimeter game, especially if you're a wing like Boozer and DeBonsa and Caleb Wilson and Darren Peterson. Now, obviously, you'd like for them to be both. And I'd argue a 35-inch vertical at 250 pounds is pretty dang explosive. But explosiveness is a sexier thing than lateral quickness. But lateral quickness is more important. Everyone wants a sexy girlfriend or wife. Okay? I would argue it's important. But you know what it's not more important than? A girlfriend or wife that you get along with and that you like. That's more important. Now, you'd obviously like your girlfriend or wife to be both sexy and easy to get along with. I checked both of those boxes. Okay? But one's more important than the other. Okay? Again, you'd like your girlfriend or wife to be both sexy and easy to get along with, but one will keep you from losing half of your stuff in a divorce. Okay? Cam Boozer is not as explosive as the guys who are going to get drafted in front of him. He's not going one. It really seems like the Wizards are going to take AJ DeBonsa. Cam Boozer could go two since Carlos Boozer is one of the scouts for the Jazz. Obviously, Carlos Boozer played for the Jazz for a long time. But at the same time, knowing what I know about the Angels, the general manager and the president of basketball operations, Danny Ainge and his son, what I know about them is they care about star power. And there's a lot of people smarter than me that really think Darren Peterson has that. Last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I was running through draft takes. There are people who think that Darren Peterson's ceiling, not floor, ceiling is Kobe Bryant. That's a nice ceiling. I understand taking a risk on that. But for Cam Boozer, I think he's going to be really good. Just because of how well he moves and just how good he is at basketball. When you look at the Pacers have two explosive athletes on their team. Aaron Nesmith, who jumps like 40 inches, and Obi Toppin, who also jumps like 40 inches. And those are two really good players because of their athleticism. It allows Obi Toppin to be great in transition. It allows him to challenge guys at the rim defensively. Same thing with Aaron Nesmith, right? Like he's very explosive going to the rim, right? He's very explosive getting up and blocking shots. But the reason why Aaron Nesmith is a stud is because he's so laterally quick that he can guard pretty much anybody in the NBA that plays the 1, 2, or 3. Okay? That's what it is. Also, the Pacers' two best players, who are they? Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. Guess what neither one of them are? Explosive athletes. They're both incredibly quick. They're both big, like Cam Boozer. And they do a great job of using their size to get into their shots. And guess what? Those two non-explosive athletes, by NBA standards, obviously, have a really good chance to lead the Pacers to another NBA Finals this upcoming season. Don't fall in love with the sexiness of a 42-inch vertical. Fall in love with the reliability of a good jump shooter, rebounder, passer, and an elite fluid mover. That's Cam Boozer. He's probably going to fall to 3. If I had to put money on it, that's where I would bet that he ends up. With that being said, I still think he's going to be the best player in this draft class. Okay? Again, don't fall for the 42-inch vertical. Go get the guy who moves better than anybody else in this draft class. Okay? Now, what if I gave you a job offer? And I said, hey, man, I'll give you more money to work less. Chris, would you take that?
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. Don't blame him. What if I also told you you have absolutely zero transfer portal headaches to deal with? I think that'd make you even happier. Can you really blame Dusty May for leaving Ann Arbor, where it's cold and for Dallas, fifth largest city in the country, if I remember correctly? I don't blame him at all. Now, there's a domino effect that this leaves behind, and it's going to impact Indiana. I'll tell you why in 3 minutes.
The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Shout out to Bluebell Ice Cream. They dropped off a lot of ice cream at the studios today. I'm having gooey butter cake right now, and it's delicious. Will I be taking more home? You bet I will be. That stuff's awesome. Anyway, Dusty May leaving Michigan, heading to Dallas. He will be the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, and I do not blame him. Welcome to the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy Sports Ticket. Thank you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in. YouTube, X, the Indy Sports Ticket app, 1430 a.m. So many ways to listen. There's really no excuse not to. What else are you going to listen to? I mean, come on now. So when you look at this option made by Dusty May, you can't blame him. When the transfer portal is constantly rolling, it just makes the job more involved, even than what it used to be. Coaching in college right now is like running a restaurant where the entire wait staff can quit in the middle of the dinner rush without notice. And all of a sudden, you're spending half your night on Yelp trying to find new waiters. There's a guy who worked in a restaurant for a long time and worked with people who would just quit in the middle of stuff. It sucks. In the NBA, at least everybody has a contract. And in the NBA, you only have to coach. That's all you have to do. Okay, now obviously you're dealing with a different kind of athlete, but even that's not that different anymore. Those college athletes are making so much money that you're dealing with egos and overpaid players. Kind of sounds like the NBA. Players are older now as well. Yaxel Lindenborg was 24. He was the best player for Michigan last year. Coach May's best player in Dallas is 19. Okay, Coach May has dealt with, young 20-year-old athletes that think that they're hot stuff. Okay? He'll be fine dealing with that. Okay? And I think he's going to do a really good job with the Dallas Mavericks. As a lifelong Dallas Mavericks fan, Chris, I hope you heard that. That may be on our next trivia. I like the hire. We'll see if it works out. Now, here's a take I will not accept because I find it stupid. College sports are in a terrible place because coaches like Dusty May are fleeing for the pros. This has always been the case. It's always been the case. As long as recruiting is a thing, this isn't going to change. The NBA and NFL have always been more appealing jobs because it's more coaching and less of the other stuff. And a lot of the other stuff's bullcrap. Boosters, NIL donors, 18-year-old kids threatening to transfer if you don't give them a bigger bag. Also, question, does it mean that college basketball is in a better place than the NBA because John Shire, Duke's head coach, turned down the Mavericks job to stay at Duke? Does that mean college basketball is in a better place in a better place than the pros? No. It's just preference. But here's the thing. Nick Saban, Jim Harbaugh, Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Tarkinen, and Chip Kelly all left college football for the pros before NIL was a thing. Rick Pitino, John Calipari, Billy Donovan, Brad Stevens, John Beilein, and Lon Kruger all left college basketball for the NBA before NIL was a thing in college basketball. The pros have always been better jobs than college jobs have been. And that's never going to change no matter what they do. It's less work for more money. Who wouldn't take that gig? I love doing a 3-hour show. But if someone called me and said, hey, Jonathan, we would like for you to do a show an hour a day and we'll double your pay, I'm probably going to take that job. I mean, seriously. Like the vast majority of people would take a job that's less work for more money, especially if they've already reached the mountaintop, like Dusty May has. He's won a national title. There's nothing else for him to do in college basketball. Okay, college basketball's fine. It's more entertaining than ever. But guess what? A college basketball job will never be better than an NBA job because it's less work for more money. Everybody would sign up for that. Now, here's the fun thing. I think, at least. Those Michigan players on a Michigan team that was supposed to be awesome this year, they can hit the portal. And if my research is correct, Indiana basketball has 12 players on scholarship right now, between 4 incoming freshmen, 7 transfers, and Trent Sicily coming back. That means they have 3 scholarships remaining to give out. I guarantee you that some of those Michigan players are going to transfer because they showed up. I know people think that players play for the brand. That's not true. They're playing for the money and the coach. And they all went over there to play for Dusty May, who's not there anymore. And I also guarantee you that some of those players are going to be good enough to make IU better, and IU should go after them. When a head coach leaves like this, it can be an absolute estate sale. And if it is at Michigan, if all these guys are lining up to leave, Indiana needs to be the first in line in the driveway with the biggest U-Haul that they can rent. Elliot Cadeau won Most Outstanding Player at the Final Four last year. He can really shoot it at the point guard spot. I think he would make Indiana better. Trey McKinney was like a 5-star freshman last year. Came along big time in the NCAA tournament. Hit the dagger to send UConn home in the national title game. Michigan doesn't go on that run without him. He was really good last year. And guess what? He could make Indiana better this year at the shooting guard spot. If Indiana thinks they need a big or a wing, then Michigan has those as well. They did a lot of work in the big man market. They brought in Tennessee's J.P. Estrella, Cincinnati's Mustafa Tiem, and LSU's Jalen Reed. 3 bigs that may look to leave. And if they go to Indiana, would probably help Indiana out a little bit. Okay? Those 3 guys were all intended to replace 3 potential lottery picks in Yaxel Lindenborg, Morez Johnson, and Adai Mara. Okay, they also landed a really nice freshman class. I believe it finished 4th, headlined by 5-star wing Brandon McCoy and a top 50 stretch big named Quinn Costello. I would be surprised if no one left Michigan. Indiana is going to have a great chance to add to their already good transfer portal class. The question is if they can land any of them and how aggressive IU is in going out and trying to get some of those players. I think they should be super aggressive because one thing you never want to be short on is talent. So go get more talented players. It'll only make you better. Okay, speaking of getting better, the U.S. men's national team is legitimately good at soccer. Feels like a very weird thing to say, but they've looked like one of the best teams in the World Cup so far, and their best player has only played in 45 minutes of it. They're going to play Turkey Thursday night, 10 p.m. Can't wait. I'm staying up for it. So is Chris, right?
Maybe.
Don't do that. Come on now.
Yes.
Okay, guess what? That game doesn't matter because Team USA has already won their group, and Turkey, not Turkey A, Turkey, however people say it, it's Turkey. It's been Turkey for 26 years, at least, maybe longer. Turkey, they've already been eliminated. This is the first time the U.S. men's national team has ever won their group with a game to spare. They're likely going to get to rest Christian Pulisic again. And they're going to sit all their players with yellow cards. Okay? We're going to get to see some of the bench guys. That's exciting because depth is important because players get hurt. Hopefully we see Gio Reyna again. If you don't know who that is, he was the guy who scored the 4th goal against Paraguay. He's also an incredible talent. I was texting with Colt Booth earlier in the week. We had him on last week, and he laid it out. And we were texting about, Gio Reyna, and Gio Reyna's talented enough to be the best soccer player in the history of the United States. He's that good. He's got some issues, though. Let's see if we can iron those out. Okay, I'm glad that the U.S. men's national team has already clinched their group. I'm even more glad by how they've done it. And I'm super, I don't know, excited is not the right word here. I find it very amusing how much the rest of the world hates that we're good at soccer. Australia is still whining about their 2-0 loss to us. But the way that Team USA has done it has been fun. They've been the aggressor in both matches. They're actually creating shots, not just scoring off counterattacks. They didn't give up a goal to Australia. That broke a 14 consecutive match streak where Team USA had given up at least one goal. Okay, they've been so much fun to watch. I could not imagine watching a team like Australia and rooting for them, spending the majority of the game defending your own goal, hoping for a chance for a quick counterattack. Playing soccer like Australia did is like going into a boxing match and just covering your face for 12 rounds, hoping the other guy slips on a banana peel. It's miserable to watch, and it's an admission of weakness. It's like the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. It was over before it started. You're fully admitting you're just not as good as your opponent when you play that kind of soccer. And that's who the U.S. men's national team used to be. But they aren't that anymore. In general, I think the United States does two things better than any other country in the world in general. This is not a soccer thing. I think in the United States, we win and we entertain better than any other country in pretty much anything. And right now, when you watch the U.S. men's national team play soccer, that is what they're doing. They're winning, and they're doing it in an entertaining fashion. How can you ask for much more than that? Now, some things have also fallen their way. For example, Chris Richards has looked incredibly healthy. He was a question mark health-wise before the tournament started. Their midfield has dominated possession in both games. They haven't made any mind-boggling mistakes. Their goalie still makes me nervous, but he's held up so far. They've proven that they're good. You do not clinch your group with a game to spare if you're bad. It's like Miami, Ohio. You knew they weren't bad because they went 31-0 or whatever it was before they finally lost in their conference tournament. Same thing. If you win 30 games in college basketball, you're not bad. If you win your group in the World Cup with a game to spare, you're not bad. And I think Team USA is capable of beating anyone in this tournament with the exception of France. It's the only team that I've seen where I'm like, I don't know if Team USA could really hang with them. They're just too powerful on the attack, and the U.S. men's national team doesn't have the defenders to deal with them, and they don't have some superhuman goalie to keep them in games either. Anyone else, though, they can beat. They're good enough to do that. This is a team that should win their round of 32 game and could potentially be favored in their round of 16 game. Couldn't tell you the last time that happened. This is supposed to be our golden generation of soccer, and they've lived up to it so far. But they have to keep the train rolling. With the U.S. men's national team winning their group, they'll play a third-place group finisher in the round of 32. There are a few teams I would like for them to avoid. Third place in Group E is going to be either Ivory Coast or Ecuador. Both of those teams are talented, could give Team USA some trouble. Group F's third-place team could be the Netherlands, Japan, or Sweden. All three of those teams are good. Senegal is likely going to finish third in Group I. They're a good team. Team USA beat them in a friendly right before the World Cup, 3-2. Okay, if the U.S. men's national team can avoid those three teams, I feel much better about their chances to advance to the round of 16 and beyond. We'll see kind of who they play in the round of 16. Hopefully, luck just kind of continues to fall their way. John Buzzer with a question: who has a better chance of surviving? USA getting to the World Cup championship, or a 3-year-old jumping off a fridge? 3-year-old jumping off a fridge, because that happened multiple times over the weekend in the Smith household, and no children got hurt. What you got, Chris?
I have a question. We're getting ready to watch this game here. It's Portugal and Uzbekistan, whatever.
Yeah.
Why has every game started with the players walking out with children?
That's a great question. I don't have the answer to it. It's a great question. But they do the same thing in Europe for all of those matches.
Like, I understand it's, like Make-A-Wish of the country or whatever. That's cool. But like every team does it. Like, are these kids of the players or?
No, I don't think that they're kids of the players. Here's what Google says. The tradition of seeing children walk onto the pitch with World Cup players is a long-standing FIFA practice that began in the 2002 World Cup. It was introduced through a partnership between FIFA and UNICEF as part of the Say Yes for Children campaign, which aimed to promote and protect the right of all children to healthy recreation and quality primary education. So there you go.
All right. Well, the majority of these kids that come out onto the field look frightened. They look terrified.
Wouldn't
They
you
do
be
not
though?
look happy.
You're just like walking out there in front of 75,000 people. Like your idol Ronaldo is standing by you. That's a little intimidating.
I suppose.
Ronaldo's like, F these kids, man. I don't want to hear with them. This is supposed to be about me.
It looks like some type of cult. They bring all these children out and they put them in the middle. Like, here's our sacrifice. Give us a World Cup championship.
That's a little dark, man. It's a little dark. We got Joseph George coming up at 1 o'clock. He's going to join us to talk NBA draft. I'll do my best to explain why Cam Boozer's the best player in this draft. We'll talk about the Pacers potentially trading into like that 30s range. Who could potentially fall to them? We'll get to all that at 1 o'clock with Joseph George. But first, Chris, as your sports update.
Thanks, Jonathan. Here's what's trending this hour. Round 1 of the NBA draft starts tonight, 8 p.m. on ABC. Still no picks at the moment for the Pacers, but they have expressed interest in the trading into the 30s, which could be more accurate tomorrow for round 2. Minnesota traded James Randle to the Brooklyn Nets, allowing the Wolves to sign free agent Ayo Dosunmu, a free agent that the Pacers had also showed interest in. The Indiana Fever overcame a 16-point deficit to defeat the Phoenix Mercury last night, 86-77. At Gainbridge Fieldhouse, Tyrese Halliburton was courtside and assisted with the ball getting stuck in the backboard, which was a highlight on SportsCenter for some reason. So there you go. The Fever will rematch with the Mercury tomorrow night at 7:30 on the USA Network. The Colts released their training camp schedule. That'll kick off at Grand Sports Campus in Westfield on July 29th. And lastly, IU football head coach Kurt Signetti landed commitments from their 4-star linebackers, JonathIN Mayfield and Kane Brackney. So welcome to the Hoosiers. That's what's trending this hour. More of the real Jonathan Smith Show, and Joseph George joins after the break on Indy Sports Ticket 1430.
do this. It's the real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
The NBA draft is tonight with all the Giannis news that seems to be getting buried a little bit. Welcome into the real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in. No matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket, if you want to head over there and subscribe, you can watch the show on X__Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on the Indy Sports Ticket app or 1430 AM if you're driving around the Indianapolis area. We've got Joseph George joining us right now. We'll see if his camera pops up here whenever I put him up on screen. Does a great job writing over at the Silver Bulletin. Joseph, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing good, Jonathan. How about you?
Dude, I'm doing really well. And I've got kind of an interesting question to start off here. So I went home this last weekend because we had a long weekend. My parents live about 6 hours away. I have a nephew, and we have this, it's called interesting tradition in my family, where growing up, my uncles would put me up on the fridge, and then I would jump off the fridge and they would catch me. And my nephew's finally old enough to do that, so we did that all weekend. Do you have any like weird family traditions like that?
No, I've never done anything as weird as jumping off a fridge.
Okay, I didn't know. I wanted to ask. All right, man. Let's talk about the NBA draft. So I want to start with Milwaukee. Obviously, they trade away Giannis yesterday. They now have picks 10 and 13. How do you think that trade kind of impacts what they're going to do?
Well, I think it definitely signals that they're going to go with someone young. I think there was like a week ago, I think people were a little bit more confused there were a lot more rumors about them drafting Nate Ament, and he's probably the most like raw prospect in the draft, or maybe like second most. But I think now those rumors seem a little bit more substantiated. Although that number 13 pick is certainly interesting. Like I didn't think that was going to be until like a couple of days ago. I really didn't think Giannis was going to get traded until after the draft. So the number 13 pick certainly has some intrigue. I'm not totally sure where they're going to go with that, because they have now like a very open roster, it seems, especially if they seem to want to deal Tyler Hero.
Yeah, that makes it interesting as well. Let's kind of look at the top 4 picks. I'm a big Cam Boozer guy. Love his game. I think he gets knocked for his athleticism a little bit, but I think he's the most fluid mover of those kind of top 4 guys. I think he's the best basketball player right now. I know we're kind of projecting for the future. How do you kind of see those top 4 prospects?
Yeah, I'm a big Cam Boozer fan as well. I'm like, obviously I write in kind of a very like analytical lens. The analytics people tend to be skewing towards Cam Boozer this year, but I think even beyond just like the analytics, I think if you just watch him play, you can see the efficiency at which he gets the spots he wants to get to. If he wants to go to the rim, I find it almost, I want to say almost like Zion-esque how he gets to the rim, but it doesn't look nearly as quick. But like one thing I would say after evaluating prospects for kind of a long time now is we've seen time and time again how aesthetics can kind of influence draft prospects kind of like stock in the moment. A good example would be like Luka Doncic. I think a lot of people in the moment thought Luka Doncic couldn't really move very well or get to the spots, but ultimately, like if you are already getting to the spots you want to get to in whatever league you play in, the odds are probable that like you're gonna at least try to do it the same way in the NBA. You know, I think like it'd be kind of weird for me if Cameron Boozer was able to go from the most dominant freshman potentially to ever play college basketball, maybe second most, to then being completely stopped in the NBA, when we've literally seen players, like especially this last season, like Con Knipple, kind of reproduce like their own college performances in the NBA in the right systems.
Joined by Joseph George, who does a great job covering the draft over at the Silver Bulletin. You can go check that out on Substack. Yeah, I'm with you. Like I'm a big fan of players who make the game look easy, and I think Cam Boozer, everything he does just looks easy. And even going through like all the combine numbers, which I know aren't everything, like his shuttle time and his lane time were like faster than everybody. He was faster than Darren Peterson on some of them, and he's a guard. And I just think that more and more of basketball, I think 20 years ago, you could argue basketball was more of an explosive game because there are a lot more confrontations at the rim, whereas now with it being more perimeter oriented, I want guys who move well. So how is like the changing of basketball and the way that it's played impacted how you kind of evaluate guys in that sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think Boozer is a good example here because maybe 10 years ago I would have thought of Boozer as like having to play this bully ball 4 role or this even small ball 5 role, but like the way I'm evaluating him currently is that he's effectively a small forward just with a huge frame, and that opens up a lot of possibilities, right? Because the way I try to evaluate basketball is through total impact. Boozer certainly has impact in the defensive rebounding and just overall rebounding categories. He certainly impacts, like his team's true shooting percentages to go upwards because he's a very good passer and very good playmaker. So then, like in this all-encompassing impact level, I find it very hard to think that like Cam Boozer will not be a very positive player because he impacts the game in so many different ways. Even if you don't believe that his half-court creation will hold up in the NBA, I just still think he provides so much ancillary value in rebounding or passing or even like play finishing because he's a good shooter as well. It's kind of hard to build a case where he's not at least an all-NBA player at his peak. And that sounds a little bit insane, but I don't think anyone would have called me insane for saying the same thing about Zion or Cooper Flagg, when I think Boozer is almost a similar level prospect to those two.
I agree. I don't think you're crazy at all. So you mentioned that you like to evaluate players by total impact. I am not a Darren Peterson guy, because to kind of go off your total impact thing, I understand like in high school he averaged like 7 assists a game playing high prep ball. But like with what he did at Kansas, not a great passer. Kind of disappeared in spots. How do you evaluate a guy like him who I think is much more of a scorer as opposed to like a hub like a Cam Boozer is?
Yeah, he's one of the tougher evals I think we've had in a long time, just because the injury concerns are there. Injury concerns could boost his stock or decrease his stock depending on how you see his college season played out. Like if you thought that his college season was worse than you expected, then maybe you could dock some of that to the injuries. But on the other hand, like it's not really a good sign though that like the injuries made him avoid the rim so much during a season. Like, and it also made, and as a result of avoiding the rim, it also kind of hurt his playmaking, and then he had to turn into this very off-ball shooter. Granted, he did play that role very well. I will say that, like at least within the realm of what you would expect a freshman to play in an off-ball shooting role, he was very good. So I think it would be hard to make a case that he shouldn't be in the top 5. But I would argue, like from that total impact perspective, there are way bigger concerns about Peterson than there would be about Boozer or even DeBonsa, who I'm not like the biggest fan of DeBonsa, but I certainly think that it's very easy to project that DeBonsa will be like getting to the rim in the NBA and will be scoring at like a pretty high level in the NBA, even if you don't think the other things might come around.
Joined by Joseph George, who does a great job covering the NBA draft over at the Silver Bulletin. You can go find that over at Substack. So that's interesting. Hearing what you said there about DeBonsa, of how he's not like your favorite prospect, because like I think DeBonsa is a very sexy prospect. He's like 6'9", he's got long arms, can jump out of the gym. What's kind of your holdup with him then, I guess?
Yeah, defensively, like it wasn't great. The activity level off ball and even on ball, and I think he said this in an interview recently that his off ball defense was pretty poor. I certainly think he has the tools. It would be weird if like with his frame he couldn't impact the game defensively. But we've seen it's not like I'm not a huge fan of is when we use just the frame to project defense, right? When like I think Kingston Fleming said a good quote about this recently, where they asked him about his wingspan was lower than what people expected, and then he said like, why would you worry about my wingspan when I was already playing good defense? Because if you want to play good defense, you'll play good defense. That's like, there are obviously caveats to that. If you're too small, even if you want to play good defense, sometimes you won't be a good defender. But in the case of DeBonsa, like, yeah, the activity level is concerning. And the fact that he doesn't seem to read the floor very well off the balls is also not very good for his offensive projection, because generally you want the guy with the ball in his hands to be able to read the floor very well from like a geometric sense. And that's why we see that like steals can sometimes correlate with like offensive value in the NBA, which is strange, but it's kind of a measure of like your cognitive basketball ability. If you're reading the floor well on defense, you might then be able to make good passes on offense.
Never even thought about that. That's fascinating. But that makes sense. It's almost, you can almost equate it to like a quarterback in the NFL. It's like if you see the floor well on defense and you can anticipate passes being made for steals, then theoretically you should be able to do that on offense as well, right?
Yeah, in theory.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that. Joined by Joseph George, who does a great job covering the draft over at the Silver Bulletin. You can go check that out on Substack.com. So you talk about defense and frame, and I think part of frame is like kind of size. Like if I remember correctly, like Darius Acuff, when you watched him at Arkansas versus Flemings, like I would have thought that Kingston Flemings was longer and taller, but I think it's just because he's skinnier. I think skinnier guys just kind of look a little bit taller. What about Acuff? Because the offense is awesome, but defensively, you talk about like not being engaged off the ball. He had some pretty rough moments there at Arkansas.
Yeah, it's tough with Acuff. I think like if to be honest, I think this playoffs has helped me frame Acuff's value a little bit better than I did back in February. I'm not a big fan of Acuff because obviously I don't think anyone, even the biggest fans of Acuff, would argue that his defense was even close to good this year. It was like maybe some of the worst defense I've seen in college basketball in a long time. But like offensively, yeah, he's quite brilliant. I would argue though, like the same way that we saw with Brunson this year, that it's like the small guard bad defense thing is maybe a little bit overstated if you can hide the player. But the caveat being that you can hide that player, and that takes a lot of flexibility. And then it opens up the entire question of, is there not a better option than when you can maybe not have to hide your player and then like you can maybe put more offensively versatile players around that guy. But yeah, Acuff is certainly interesting. Like he's also like a strange evaluation case, because if you were a big fan of his offense, you have to kind of know how big of a fan of his offense you are, because the margins are so slim when you're very poor defensively. And I don't think Acuff is probably going to be like a good defender in the NBA. I don't think anyone would really argue that.
Yeah, as an Arkansas fan, can't argue with anything you said. The defense is just, how much of it is like he took possessions off because he was asked to do so much offensively? Is that a thing that comes into the thought process or no?
Yeah, it like that is a thing that happens in basketball, right? Like there are obviously players who were good defenders 2 to 3 years ago, and then they take on this higher load, and then they don't maintain the same offense anymore. But like with Acuff, I think some of the bigger issues are just like even the way he plays on-ball defense doesn't really seem to be technically sound. Like he's playing to the side of players often, and he often gets lost on like off-ball reads. And then like furthermore, I think I saw an interview that he did with Draymond Green recently where he basically said like, I don't want to guard anyone other than the point guard. Like, yeah. I think like he said, like, I like my matchups. And I think that's not a great sign if you're trying to play basketball in 2026 in the NBA, because switching is probably like the most important component of defense. So there are like, I think like teams will have a better outlook on this. Obviously they put him through the workouts and they've, got a better understanding of the game film than just me. But I still think that like the defense is enough of a question that you could argue him out of the top 10.
Out of the top 10. Okay. I was going to ask you about this because you've got these 4 awesome prospects, or maybe awesome prospects. I don't know how you feel about Caleb Wilson. But after that, you've got all these guards, and not everybody needs a guard. I think Keaton Wagler goes 5th. I think he makes the most sense alongside Garland just because of the size. But after that, who are some of the other guards that you could maybe see falling out of the top 10? Because it seems like that's going to happen.
Well, Mikal Brown Jr., I think will go number 6, but in my own like framing, I'm not sure I would have him in the top 10 either. I'm not a huge fan of all the guard crop this year. I'm a big fan of Wagler actually, but the other 3 I'm not like totally convinced about. Kingston Flemings, I think he's good, but I think there's issues with the shot distribution for him. Like, he doesn't take many threes, and like you really don't know if you want to rely on someone taking a lot of mid ranges. But the issue with Mikal Brown Jr. and Acuff is just like defensively, it's pretty rough, and the activity level doesn't look great. Mikal Brown Jr. had some good stretches this season on defense. The injuries may have played a part in his bad defense earlier in the season, so I'll give him some credit there. But Acuff just outright looked not good, and I don't know if I could argue Acuff over like Lendeborg, even if Lendeborg is like what 4 or 5 years older, because Lendeborg looked like both offensively and defensively like a complete player at almost every level, and we know that rookies can be good players in the NBA. We saw Conkinable be close to a top 40 to top 50 player in the NBA this season. So if Lendeborg can translate his college production, then I'm pretty convinced that he should be a top 10 pick.
He should be good. Like, frame, strong, can shoot it, can really guard. Like, I felt like he defended the best player for Michigan really all year. But then again, like he's 24, right? Which scares teams away for whatever reason. Again, joined by Joseph George talking about the NBA draft tonight. Before I let you go, I do want to talk about the Pacers a little bit. There's talk of them maybe trading into like somewhere in the 30s. Is there anybody in that range that you really like and think would make sense for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think Zuby Ejiofor would be kind of an interesting fit with the Pacers. I was really rooting for the Pacers to land their pick this year at the top because I liked Boozer on the Pacers. I thought Boozer would be amazing. Zuby Ejiofor is like not Boozer, but he certainly could play kind of this transition big driving role. And he's a good passer for his size as well. He seems like he could be the best fit, I think, with the Pacers. But if he goes a little bit higher than that, there are other guys like Joshua Jefferson and Malik Thomas who could also be interesting with the Pacers. But I'd probably lean for a big man if I was the Pacers right now.
Malik Thomas, love him so much. Just completely overshadowed at Arkansas by Acuff, but like movement shooter, willing defender, unlike Acuff, has a nice frame. Really, really like his game. I do have some people in the comments and on our text line asking, what do you kind of make of Braden Smith? A guy who's going to go somewhere between probably 30 and 40. I don't like him, so don't feel bad saying that. I don't think he's a long-term NBA player.
Yeah, I thought that if his measurements had turned out maybe a little bit better at the combine, I think I would have been a bigger fan. Like, he was rumored, I think, earlier in the season to have like a pretty monstrous like wingspan projection. Didn't turn out to be like exactly what they thought it would be. But he certainly looked poised for them all season, right? I think in the 30s, I think that would be a valuable pick. I think I could see him going in the 30s. After all, this draft, like, compared to 3 months ago, has taken a hit maybe on the depth of it because of the NIL stuff and, players returning to college. So currently, like, where we thought 30s, what a 30 to 40 player would look like 3 months ago, like the standard is certainly lower now. And I think I wouldn't be mad at a Braden Smith pick in the 30s, even if I'm not like the biggest fan of him. I wouldn't have him in the first round, certainly.
This might be a dumb question, so we can end on this. I would almost rather just take like a 7 foot guy who started playing basketball when he was 16 over a guy like Braden Smith, just because of the size thing. Maybe I'm too caught up in that, but like, what do you kind of make of that? Of like, I know you think it'd be a good value pick somewhere in like the 30s or 40s because you just said that, but at the same time, like, if I am taking a guy in the second round, I want somebody who can either come in and play immediately as like an older player, which Braden Smith could do, even though I think he's going to be really limited. Which then again, like, he may be a great off the ball player. We didn't see him do that too much at Purdue. Or I want a guy who maybe I can turn into like a rotational player at some point down the line. Like, what do you kind of make between taking a guy like Braden Smith versus kind of more of a project?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Braden Smith would be like the best fit with the Pacers anyways, right? But I think as far as I don't know as far as it being a project, I think the way I try to look at things and try to frame things is always just age-adjusted production as the baseline. If a guy is a project, but he has decent age-adjusted production as a baseline and he has like indicators that he could be more, then I'm always open to the two teams taking it, because like ultimately, like I don't think that the immediate needs of the team are always like the most important thing when it comes to making something as valuable as like a first round draft pick, right? For example, I think like last year, Kaman Malawach, who I was a pretty big fan of, I think, he is obviously a project, but his production in college also looked pretty good, to the point where I could say like, it's worth, even waiting a year or two to get like the production you need out of him. And he wasn't very good this season. He played in the G League, but like in a couple of years, maybe that value bet will probably pay off.
Joseph George from the Silver Bulletin. Joseph, I do this with all my guests. I say last thing, and then I ask 3 more questions. Last thing for real here. Can you give me a prospect that you seem to be higher on than everybody else, and a prospect you seem to be lower on than everybody else?
I think compared to consensus, I'm probably higher on. Well, I think I'd name 2 guys. Wagler is probably the one that I'm like higher on than like even the analytics people. Um,
Okay.
there are some indicators for me, like with Wagler, that his defensive production, the blocks and steals, which are always good indicators of future success, were kind of deflated because he played on a team that didn't play a very high pace and didn't try to foul, or wasn't very aggressive on defense. So the indicator that he is a high activity player. He grabbed a lot of offensive rebounds despite his frame being quite skinny, and like as they've described, I think in numbers now, like they call him very kind of slight, and they don't think he could generate advantages. But my argument for Wagler is that he doesn't need to be the primary creator of a team in order to be a successful player. Acuff and Mikael Brown, I think, need to be the primary creator in order for their value to pay off. But Wagler, on the other hand, like if he plays like the shooting guard position and he's off ball, like I could see him being still a valuable player in a second season, because he's that good of a shooter and he's that good of a passer. And he also grabs rebounds, and he has like basically this overall value case that's very high. The other guy I think I'm high on compared to consensus is Alan Graves, who has been a little bit. He was very underrated at the beginning of the season. It was really just a few analytics people kind of shilling for him, but he's risen through the draft process very high. Now there's a potential chance he goes like in the top 20 tomorrow, or top 20 tonight. He has some interesting value. He wasn't ranked going into college, but he is now like he's put up like a 5 steal percentage, 5 block percentage season, which is a really good indicator for like feel. He doesn't turn the ball over very much. Decent defender. I don't know if like the defense is nearly as good as the blocks and steals would suggest, but the overall offensive bet is that here's a guy who doesn't turn the ball over, who passes pretty well, shoots threes, and also on the other end gets blocks and steals. That's, I think, good enough for me. And also he grabs a good amount of offensive rebounds. I think that's good enough for me to say like he should probably go in the lottery tonight, especially given he is a freshman. So
Absolutely. That sounds great to me. A guy who can basically do everything on offense and also has blocks and steals. Sign me up for that. That sounds like an awesome player. Joseph, thank you so much for your time, man. I'm assuming you're going to have something up tonight or tomorrow after the draft.
Yeah, so we have a Giannis piece. Obviously, I think as everyone will, or we'll talk about Giannis. So we have a Giannis piece, but that will kind of go into some of the draft stuff tonight. I might end up live blogging parts of the draft today on my own blog, not on Silver Bulletin, on the zonemaster.substack.com.
Okay.
Although you will see if I end up doing that or not. But yeah, I'm a big draft fan. I think the draft is my favorite event of the year. So I will eventually have a lot of thoughts on the draft, whether it be today or tomorrow.
Awesome, Joseph. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you.
You got it. That is Joseph George. Go check his stuff out, man. Really smart guy. His stuff on the steals there was fascinating. Never thought about that. That's why we have people like him on. It is Tuesday, but it's my first show of the week. So we got to do a little JonathIN, JonathOUT, recapping some of the biggest stories from over the extended weekend. And we'll do that in 3 minutes.
The best takes. Maybe. The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Big thanks to Joseph George for joining us in that last segment to get you ready for the NBA draft tonight. It is draft day, which means at 2 o'clock, Chris and I will be having a draft of our own on meals that you could eat for the rest of your life. May have to throw Bluebell ice cream on my list. That's not a joke.
They're a free agent. You can sign them. I'll allow you to sign them right now.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
Undrafted free agent.
Sounds good. Oh, man. It is Tuesday, but it's the first show of the week, so let's get into a little bit of JonathIN, JonathOUT.
Bottom line, are you in or are you out?
What are you talking? In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out.
Okay, well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Okay, then why would you ask me?
Because I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. And we would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, man.
Good old Kevin Hart just ruining everything.
If we missed JonathIN, JonathOUT yesterday, that's what we're doing it today. So, number one, JonathIN, JonathOUT on a 2-day NBA draft. Like 2 days, not today.
Yeah. Used to be out on this, but I think I'm in now. It's kind of nice, especially with a year like this where there's so many good players that are going to go at the top. It's kind of nice to have, like, okay, all these guys went, deep breath. Now let's pay attention to what happens tomorrow. So I think I'm in on it from that perspective.
How many rounds are there, by the way?
Two.
Only 2 rounds.
Only 2 rounds, and it
Got
takes them 2 days to do it.
All right. JonathIN, JonathOUT on Darren Peterson's issues being cramps.
You know that monkeys never cramp? Do you know why that is?
No.
Because monkeys eat bananas.
Right. I've heard that.
So that's a reference to one of the best post-game interviews ever.
So it's just from the interview. It's not a true fact.
No, it's true. I mean, I've never seen a monkey cramp, and they do eat a lot of bananas. And it is true that because bananas have potassium, they help you not cramp. But
I thought you were just trying to teach me about cramps.
Nope.
All right.
But for Darren Peterson, I don't know. I've never met someone who has cramping issues because of the creatine that they're taking. That's a really interesting excuse. I think I'm out on it. I just have a lot more questions than I do answers about it. And when there's other guys at the top of the draft that are just as good or better, I think it's really hard to buy into a guy who has a really weird excuse for why he couldn't play.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah.
JonathIN, JonathOUT on Dusty May as an NBA head coach.
And I think he's going to be a really good head coach.
I agree with that.
Why do you agree with that?
Because you said he would be a great NBA coach.
Okay. All right.
No, he was a great coach at Michigan, but it's not Chris in, Chris out. It's JonathIN, JonathOUT.
Yeah, but I mean,
you tell me.
You never have a firm opinion on any of this stuff. So as soon as you agree, it's like, I would like to know why you think that.
It's a key to a happy life right there. Just have a short opinion.
I mean, unless you're in radio and you got to talk for 3 hours.
All right.
But yeah, to your point, good coach. Players like him, which is important. I think schematically, I think he's really smart. I think that you have to have that because if you show up and you don't have your I's dotted and your T's crossed, then older players are going to question, like, can you really do this? All the interviews he's done, he seems like a very understanding person. And when you're dealing with egotistical athletes, I think you have to be understanding. And so I like his personality for it. And then in terms of like scheme, genius.
I agree with that too. He seems very flexible as far as being understanding, but also not taking any crap either. Like he's very business oriented, and there you go.
Yeah.
Looking forward to him being in the NBA. You in or out on Giannis getting traded before the draft tonight?
Yeah, I wrote that one down before the Giannis trade happened. My bad there. But I'm honestly surprised that it happened. Couldn't believe it when it went through last night. You know, I was just sitting on the couch playing video games. NBA 2K11. Yeah, 11. You heard that right.
Yep.
And it went through, and I was like, what in the world? Because so much of this Giannis stuff was like, oh, yeah, he wants to get traded. And then, oh, no, He actually doesn't want to get traded. And it's just all this back and forth nonsense. And then, the Bucks owner got involved. That is why it got done. So yeah, I was very surprised last night. I would have been out on it. I didn't think he was going to get traded until after the draft.
I didn't want to know anything that was actually real until it was done because it was just nothing but.
He requested a trade 308 days ago. It's been a 308-day cycle.
There's just a bunch of fake posts about him going to different teams and for this, that, and the other, and all these possibilities. I'm just like, and then I saw Adam Schefter's tweet, whatever. And I was like, okay, it must be official now. But okay. JonathOUT on Messi's dominant World Cup.
And it's so much fun. Like, watching this 38-year-old just dust everybody. He's leading the World Cup in goals scored right now. He's the best soccer player ever. It's the equivalent of, like, what if LeBron led his team to, like, the Western Conference Finals? And you just have to sit there and be like whether you like him or not, you have to sit there and be like, this is awesome. Like, Ronaldo just scored for Portugal. And so, yeah, that's cool because he's like 42. And it's cool to see these older players still around, still showing that they can hang. So, yeah, very much in on that.
Very good. I have a few for you, as I always do every Monday, but now Tuesday for today. Are you JonathOUT on Buc-ee's coming to Greenwood? I'm sure you've heard of
I
that.
hate Buc-ee's.
Why do you hate Buc-ee's?
I hate that place.
Can you elaborate?
No, the key to life is having short opinions.
Ah, there you go. All right. I see what you did there.
I'm kidding. I've been to Buc-ee's a couple of times. Every time I go, I've had a terrible experience. There's people everywhere. It's like, oh, we have all these gas pumps. It's like, great. But these 3 trucks with trailers bigger than my car are kind of blocking everything. So that's kind of annoying. Even though they have 7 million parking spaces by the store, people still want to park at the gas pump, which annoys me. Because, look, this is 2026. Not that many of y'all are buying gas with cash. You're just not. I know you're not. Okay, so I can never get to a gas pump because there's too many cars. And then you walk inside, and it's just mayhem in there. It doesn't feel organized. The bathrooms are really nice. I will say that. I do like using the bathroom there. I'll go bare butt there. That's fine because they're nice and they're clean. I do appreciate that. But it's way too crowded for me. And if it's the only one in this area, then do you know what the really cool thing is going to be to do? Go to Buc-ee's and get in everybody's way.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Jonathan, but I have to say that's wrong. That's inaccurate.
What do you mean that's wrong?
Because, I mean, if you've been to an actual Buc-ee's before, right? Like there's like 200 pumps. There's no shortage of a gas pump. If you can't find one because a truck is there with the trailer that's bigger than your car, you're not looking hard enough.
There's multiple trucks. And like there's 3 let's go 2 instances. Maybe a third, if I can think of it. There's 2 instances where people just forget how to drive. One, when there's any sort of precipitation. If there's rain, snow, anything, people are like, how does this car work again? So that bothers me.
Fair enough.
The other place people forget how to drive is in a parking lot. People can't drive in parking lots for some reason.
Right.
And so you get in there and people are moving all over the place.
I get it. So you will not be going to Buc-ee's.
No.
I will be going to Buc-ee's. I would actually, it makes sense to me for it to be in Greenwood because beavers like wood, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. There's
That
a
does
joke.
make sense. I like it.
But I would rather see it in Greenwood than like Carmel where all the roundabouts are because there will
That's
be
fair.
nothing but accidents there. You know
That's
what I'm
fair.
saying?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a really good point.
Very good.
Last thing on Buc-ee's. I will be going to Buc-ee's because my wife loves Buc-ee's.
There you go.
So there's that.
That is correct. Good job, Amelia. All right. JonathOUT on Prime Day shopping. It has started today. I'm not sure if you're big on shopping online. Are you the type that looks forward to Prime Day?
Yes and no. It's nice, but so we were at my parents' house over the weekend. It's June. my parents look at me and go, "Hey, can you guys make your Christmas lists? It's Prime Day this week."
Yeah.
I was like, "No, it's June." And so, when that happened, I was like, go away, Prime Day. I don't want to think about what I want 6 months from now, so that it can just sit in my parents' closet for that long. But like it's nice, I like a deal.
That's fair. I'm
Yeah.
into it too. I'm not breaking a bank on it, but I
Yeah,
like to check
it's
out and
nice.
see. All right, last one I got, because 4th of July is around the corner. I want to know if JonathOUT on fireworks on any other day besides the 4th of July, because we'll have like a month-long event of fireworks over
Depends
the
on the
city.
day. If you're like saving them for like Memorial Day or something, which is like 11 months away or whatever. But like if you're saving them for that, then yeah. But if it's like July 6th, no. Go to bed.
Well, there you go.
I'm sorry you didn't get to shoot off all your fireworks.
I'm probably out on it too, but
Maybe learn time management or stay up later. I don't need fireworks blowing up that then resemble Donald Duck going on July 7th.
fair enough.
Good.
Now, the backup question to that: should fireworks places stop selling fireworks, or just places in general that sell fireworks? Should they stop on July 5th instead of putting them out on discount? You know what I mean? Like now they're on sale.
First, you know that July 4th is celebrated on July 4th and not July 5th, right?
I'm just saying. Yes. Once we get through the 4th and they sell a bunch of them, right? Are we selling
they
the
just sell a
discount
bunch
ones that
after.
they didn't sell?
You could sell. How about this? Because I get like you don't want to just like have all this extra inventory, but how about you can sell them? You just have to sell them to people over the age of 40. Because if you sell them to anyone younger than 40, they're gonna go home and shoot them off. You got to be 40 or older to buy fireworks after July 4th.
Or increase the price.
Or increase the price so that they can't buy as many.
Like, you want to be annoying, you're going to have to pay a tax for that.
What's like your favorite firework? That's a weird question.
I don't know. I like the way the smell of snakes. Do you remember the snakes, dude?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
I think there's some kind of sulfur in there that reminds me of 4th of July and memories and stuff like that. So I know that's pretty cheap, but whatever. Snakes, sparklers, whatever.
I'm a big
what's the ones that we point at each other? And,
bottle rockets?
Yeah.
I was going to say bottle rockets because you can shoot them at each other. Roman candles because you can shoot them at each other.
Yeah.
I'm a big the little poppers that you just kind of throw that they just throw on the ground and they pop.
Yeah, those can get messy and annoying.
You want some you want some advice on how to like get back at someone who like jokingly wronged you? Like if someone pulls a prank on you, you got to get them back.
How's that?
Take the poppers, put them underneath the toilet seat, and then when they sit, it's
Have you ever done that before?
Popping. No, I've seen people do it though. I've seen it happen, or heard it happen. Heard it happen. Wasn't in the bathroom when it happened. That would be weird. I've heard it happen to somebody though, and it's really funny. Harmless too. It's great.
No, but I bet that also expedites things a little bit, if you know what I mean.
I can't see your hands.
All right. Well, whatever, man.
I can't see. You just did this most. I was like, can't see your hands, man. Can't see your hands.
Expedite the process of evacuation if you sit on fireworks.
Oh.
Okay, there you go.
You mean it'll make someone crap their pants?
There you go.
Except you won't be crapping your pants because you're on the toilet.
Okay. That does it, I think, for JonathOUT.
Oh, man. Just going off the rails, which is always a lot of fun. Right now, we got Portugal playing Uzbekistan. They're up 3-0. World Cup still going on. Still a blast. Erling Haaland. If you've ever wondered what it's like to watch a ginormous Viking chase you, just watch Norway play soccer and watch Erling Haaland. That dude's a monster. Now, every day of the World Cup, we are giving you the match of the day. We'll have the match of the day for you in 3 minutes.
If it's in today's sports world, it's here. The real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Cristiano Ronaldo finally scored in the World Cup. Never would have taken good old Lionel Messi this long to score in the Cup. Messi would have just shown up and scored a hat trick like he did. Welcome into the real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, X, the Indy Sports Ticket app, or 1430 AM. We are drafting. What are we drafting again? We're
Foods
that basically the idea is like if someone asked you what if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would you pick? And then we're picking our top 5 options for that. We're doing that at 2:00 right now. Though we are talking World Cup. Your match of the day today. It's going to be Colombia versus Congo DR. Chris, do you know what the DR stands for in Congo DR?
doctor.
Okay.
Like Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre. I don't know about that.
Dominican Republic?
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. It's the Dominican Republic of the Congo. I feel dumb. I feel like I should have known that. I feel like that was a pretty easy one. I just completely whiffed.
Well, for every 5 that you know, I know at least one, so.
Of what? Soccer teams?
No, of just anything.
I don't know about that. I think you're giving me a little too much credit there. Just a little bit too much credit. But anyway, our match of the day today, we're going to go with Colombia versus Congo, or the Dominican Republic of Congo. I think I sound smarter if I say the whole thing. It's not a great slate tonight, like it was yesterday. Like, if someone was like, I don't like soccer, I'd have been like, watch last night. Because you had just so many great players on the pitch last night. You had Messi playing for Argentina, France. You got, Mbappe and the 2 wingers that they have that are awesome. You could watch Norway, watch Erling Haaland. If you wanted to know what it was like when the Vikings were storming and pillaging villages, just watch Erling Haaland run, because he's just a monster. And then Jordan and Algeria started just in time for you to go to bed. So that, worked out well. And then today, again, not a great slate. Cristiano Ronaldo is playing right now, but they're already up 3-0 on Uzbekistan. England's going to play Ghana at 4:00. England, big favorite in that one. They're playing in Boston, or they're playing in Foxborough. I think everybody should show up in like 1700s attire with fake boxes of tea. And then at the that didn't work. I was going to say at the 17-minute, 76-second mark. At like the 17 minute mark, everybody should throw their tea onto the field. I think that'd be awesome.
That'd be pretty awesome.
That'd be so funny.
Do you want some breaking news?
Always.
Here it comes, Jonathan. Breaking news just in. The ESPN has reported that the NFL has decided not to hold a supplemental draft this year, effectively halting Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby and his path to the league this season.
Oh my gosh. That is breaking news. Sometimes we have breaking news and I'm like, that could have waited. This is real breaking news. Real quick, match of the day is Colombia versus the Congo. Colombia's minus 180. Should be a great game. The Dominican Republic of the Congo is one of the kind of like fun stories of the World Cup so far this year. So check out that game tonight if you want some soccer to watch. Also, Chris, you mentioned how you like it when they pan to attractive people in the crowd.
Yes.
Colombia's playing. That should be more than enough for you.
I will tune in for that.
So there's a long letter written by Lawrence P. Farazani Jr. on why they're not holding the supplemental draft. Um, man, I don't have time to read all of this. But yeah, so I don't know what ends up happening to Sorsby then. I don't know if someone can just sign him as like an undrafted free agent. But this gambling thing is going to ruin his life. That is what it looks like right now. Like part of this letter says you knowingly engaged in repeated and significant violations of NCAA rules designed to preserve the integrity of athletic competition. Like, so it seems like because he broke all these rules, just kind of from skimming this letter, they're not going to hold the supplemental draft because of that. Good for them. Seriously, great for them. Like, do I in some ways feel a little bad for Sorsby? Yeah, because eventually he did the right thing and he left college sports, but now he's not even going to be able to get drafted. Don't gamble when you're in college, kids. It'll just ruin your life. So, at long term, though, this might actually be the best thing for him because, when we had Zach Hicks on earlier and we were kind of talking about, or when we had Zach Hicks on to talk about the Colts maybe pursuing him, we talked about how wherever he went, he needs to sit for a couple of years so that people forget. And then when he comes back, people will remember, but it won't be as fresh in their minds and it won't be as big of a deal. That's going to happen now. Not by his choice, obviously, but he's not going to play football this year. He can take this year to go and really address what's going on. Like, if he really does have a problem and this really is some addiction, then he can take the full year, go to whatever rehab facility he needs to go to, and he can get all that squared away. I think that'll help him as well, just in terms of the eye of these teams. It's like, hey, look, I didn't play football last year. I spent the whole year working out and working on this issue. I know that what I did was wrong, but I promise it's really behind me. You'll then have hopefully like some character witnesses for people, to come in and kind of vouch on his behalf. So while it sucks for him that he's not going to be able to play football this year, A, it's what should have happened. B, it might end up being the best thing for him. So there was your breaking news. Brendan Sorsby not eligible for this year's supplemental draft. We will be, speaking of drafts, perfect. Chris and I are drafting foods that we could eat for the rest of our life. Imagine if someone said, hey, you can only have one food for the rest of your life. Which one would you pick? Chris and I are drafting our top 5 options for that at 2:00. But first, Chris, is your sports update.
Thanks, Jonathan. We're going to leave that segment hungry, too, by the way. I bet round 1 of the NBA draft starts tonight on ABC at 8 p.m. Still no picks at the moment for the Pacers, but insiders are whispering a trade into the early second round to potentially draft guard Emmanuel Sharp from Houston. DraftKings odds now have the Pacers projected to finish 5th in the East next season following Miami's trade for Giannis. We'll see what happens there. The Indiana Fever overcame a 16-point deficit to defeat the Phoenix Mercury last night, 86-77 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The Fever will rematch with the Mercury tomorrow night at 7:30. That'll be on the USA Network and again at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The Colts released their training camp schedule, and that'll kick off at the Grand Sports Campus in Westfield on July 29th. And we just broke the news a few minutes ago that the NFL will not hold a supplemental draft this year, which means Texas Tech QB Brendan Sorsby will not be joining the league this year in that fashion, at least. That's what's trending this hour. More of the Real Jonathan Smith Show after the break on Indy Sports Ticket 1430.
do this. It's the real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
The NBA draft starts tonight. We'll have the first round going on. If you missed the interview earlier with Joseph George, go back and listen to it, watch it. It's really good. He did a great job kind of breaking down why some players are liked more than others, and it was fascinating. It was awesome stuff. So, but again, it is draft day, which means, as we do every draft day, Chris and I hold a draft of our own on random and different topics. Welcome into the real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy's Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket. If you want to head over there and subscribe, you can watch the show on X__Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on the Indy Sports Ticket app or 1430 AM if you're driving around the Indianapolis area. So today, Chris and I are drafting meals or foods that we would eat for the rest of our lives if we had to. So, you know, the good old icebreaker. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? We're answering that with our top 5 options.
And this is every meal of the day, right? Like
Yep,
breakfast,
lunch, dinner, dessert.
So nonstop, you can only get one.
You can only eat this thing. Yep.
Okay. All right. Since you picked this topic today, maybe I'll pick the one for tomorrow. Or the round 2.
You don't want to do drugs? That's my other idea.
I'm going to have you.
Well, the first pick, Chris selects meth.
No. Nope. Hard no. All right. But yeah, we'll talk about that round 2 tomorrow. But round 1 today. Is that the same sound that they use for the NBA draft? Or
I
do they?
think so. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
But let's just say that they do.
Well, anyway. You
want me to do my Adam Silver impression?
Yeah, go for it.
With the first pick.
That's pretty good. So
he looks like an alien.
Yeah,
just
he does.
saying. He does.
He does. He's offspring.
He looks like a mega mind. If you've seen that. So he looks. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Him and Giannis have a spaceship out in the field somewhere.
What about Wemby?
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, I was like, he's the alien.
Oh, sorry. That name is just
Giannis is just from Greece. You're saying people from Greece. Well, people from Greece would be aliens here. So you're not technically wrong.
All right. Well, anyway, it's our draft. That's our sound. And with the first pick, I'm going to take blueberry waffles.
Okay.
This is something I could eat 3 times a day if it's from like Waffle House and it's done right.
Yeah.
So
if it's from Waffle House, where it's always done correctly.
If it's something I have to live the rest of my life with, there's some fruit in there. You know, you have some carbs. I think that's a solid choice. I'm going to go with blueberry waffles.
Okay. That's a good pick. I think we took.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I think we took very different approaches to this. That's okay. My first pick gonna be potatoes because you can fry them, you can bake them, you can mash them up and do mashed potatoes. So many different ways to eat the potato. I felt like that had to be my first pick.
Solid choice. That mashed potatoes was on my list because
not
the kind in the box or the instant. I need some real.
My grandma used to make hunked potatoes. Do you know what those are?
Are those the chunky ones?
Yeah. So like it's mashed potatoes, but then you would just occasionally catch like a large chunk of a potato. And it was so good.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff.
Sounds like a choking hazard, but yes, I have.
I mean, like you're chewing. Like you know what's in there.
Oh, there's a
when
surprise.
It hits your fork.
All right, very good. With my next pick of the foods that we could live the rest of our lives if that was our only choice, I'm going to choose chili.
Good pick.
Chili is excellent, of course, with some crackers. I don't know about having it for breakfast. That might ruin your day, but
hey, you just skip breakfast.
I would, yeah, I would still have that for the rest of my life.
It's a good option. Are you throwing Fritos in there?
Fritos are good. I don't need sour cream, but I do need some shredded cheese.
Okay. No sour cream. That's a choice. What part of Indiana are you from?
Just the central Indiana, east side.
Do you eat peanut butter sandwiches with your chili?
No.
Did you know that's a thing?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what those people are?
Weird.
Disgusting. Weird works too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
No.
All right. With my second pick, I'm going to take steak. If you want me to be more specific, ribeye. Because, I can do steak and eggs every morning, hold the eggs. I can do that. I love steak. It's, you were going to say, sorry.
No. I'm just, what's the best place to go to, in Jonathan's opinion, for steak?
Depends on what kind of steak you want. If you want like super high up end, I like the steak at St. Elmo's. It is a steakhouse. There's the other place downtown, Prime 47, pretty good as well. So I've been told. Never been to Prime 47. Me personally, where I like to go, there's 2 locations. There's one in Noblesville. There's one in Greenwood. Aspen Creek.
Oh, yeah.
I freaking love that place.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
You get a big old 16-ounce ribeye cooked medium rare. Get that with the mac and cheese. Probably get some, it's not called powwow shrimp. They've got this really nice shrimp appetizer that's freaking awesome.
Okay.
You get that. You order your steak with mac and cheese and mashed potatoes because you don't get vegetables at a steakhouse. I think everybody knows that.
Sure.
And then you go to town. You wake up the next morning 5 pounds heavier and you don't care about it at all.
After you eat all your meat and potatoes, then you jump off a refrigerator.
That's right. That's exactly right.
All right, very good. Solid choice right there, Jonathan. My third pick for foods that we could eat forever, I would probably have to say Thin Mints, if that qualifies.
That
Like the
Girl Scout cookie.
Yes, the green boxes. I could smash one box in 15 minutes or less. And if I was told that I had to eat those every day for the rest of my life, I wouldn't be mad about it. Just give me some milk.
That's fair, man.
All right.
That's fair.
Cool.
That's okay.
Is that weird?
It's a great pick.
Don't judge me.
I'm jealous. I didn't pick that. It's a great pick.
All right.
For my next pick, I'm just gonna go pizza. I love pizza.
Sure.
You can eat it cold in the morning. You can eat it hot at lunch and dinner. Good stuff.
Now, if somebody says you have to have pizza for every day for the rest of your life, do you get like a selection of where it comes from, or is it just from one place?
I feel like you should get a selection.
As long as it's pizza, it qualifies.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want me to be like,
Jonathan makes the rules.
if you want me to be more specific, I'd probably go with like pepperoni pizza.
Okay.
If you want me to be really specific, I'm getting one of 2 things. I'm either getting the pan crusted pepperoni pizza from Domino's, because when I was in college, I would just buy. I'd eat a whole pizza.
Sure.
It was so good. Or I'm going to Jets, because Jets pepperoni pizza, the Detroit style, so good.
By the way, it is National Detroit Pizza Day, or Detroit Style Pizza Day,
That's good to know.
in a random world of today's national
How do
day
you
is
know
whatever. Because I do it for my other shows. I look at the national calendar,
Gotcha,
whatever.
gotcha.
But okay, so you have multiple choices for your pizza, and not just like you get Speedway sliced pepperoni and then, something really good later.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Good choice. For my next choice, I'm simply going to take Chick-fil-A chicken, because that's
Good
good
answer. Yeah,
anytime.
that is good.
Although I'm not a big fan of it in the morning.
So you're just not going to eat on Sundays?
Touche. See, I'm going to put some left over, warm it up on Sunday. But if it was available on Sunday, yeah, absolutely. Chick-fil-A every day.
That's funny. That's hard to argue with that. Someone in the comments said Pizza King Pizza. I've never been to Pizza King, but they have like a train that comes around.
Yeah, I think they deliver drinks and stuff. I haven't been since.
Okay. There's a very nice steakhouse in Tampa Bay, Florida. I forget what it's called. Oh, it's going to bother me. But I was telling my wife about it. And so at this Burns, that's what it's called. Burns Steakhouse. So you go, that you eat steak. It's really good. When you're done with your food, they ask you, do you want a tour? You say yes. And then take you on a full tour of the restaurant. They show you how they make everything. And then they take you to a separate room where you order desserts. There's a phone on the wall. Call it. You say, hey, we want this, and this. And then they send it to you on a train.
Really?
Yeah, I've never been. One of my coworkers at Fifth Third when I was working there was telling me about it, and I was like, "We got to go. Like next time we're on a cruise, like let's go on a day early, so we can eat at Burns." And I tell Amelia the train thing, and she goes, "Oh, like what they have at Pizza King." I was like, "I don't think it's the same. I think a $100 a plate steakhouse, it's gonna be a little different than what Pizza King's got going on."
Kind of the same concept, but yeah, I see what she's saying.
It was so funny. So funny. My next pick. Sorry, we got sidetracked there.
I was confused. I don't know where we're at.
Sorry.
Is this your last pick?
This is my fourth pick.
Okay.
This is my fourth pick.
Okay.
I'm gonna go sushi.
Ew.
Oh, what? You don't like sushi?
That is the wrong answer.
Sushi is so good, dude.
No, that's a hard pass, but I'm glad
you get
like
everything you need. There's a trained sushi place in Fishers. Maybe that's what we need to draft. Restaurants that have trains in them. But so you sit down and they charge you by the plate. Okay. And so there's just like a train of plates that comes on. It's like, here's your California rolls. And you just reach on the train, you take it off. They have a thing that eats your plates.
Eats your plates?
Yeah, yes and no. It's like you put it in, but like as you put in plates, this cartoon pops up and it tells a story. It's awesome. Like I was there with some of my buddies, and I was like, and we were like, we gotta eat more so we can figure out what happens next. It's a great tactic.
Yeah,
it's a great tactic.
I don't eat sushi, but that sounds like fun.
It was a lot of fun. We had a blast. They also had really good dessert. It was a great place.
Okay,
great spot.
Awesome. So sushi was your fourth pick.
Yep.
All right. I'm glad that you didn't pick this because I'm going to make it my fifth pick. I'm going to go with tacos. Not only because it's Tuesday, but dude, tacos makes everybody happy, right? I would eat tacos for the rest of my life.
What do you put on your taco?
Well, I like the beef tacos rather than, steak tacos, but yeah, beef, cheese, lettuce, pico, some sauce.
What? You can't just say some sauce. We're going like Taco Bell hot sauce.
No. Like the
Diablo
authentic,
sauce.
No, not super hot, but authentic. Well, yeah, sometimes hot, but I don't want it so hot that I can't enjoy my taco. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Sometimes soft, sometimes hard tacos. But
you like hard tacos.
I have no discrimination against any taco. What are you smiling about?
I asked if you liked.
I know
tacos, and you just completely ignored me.
I know what tacos you're talking about, and I wanted to say that, but we'll just do this here.
Yeah, I was waiting for the bell ring.
That would have been my number one, but I didn't think that was appropriate, so we're just gonna move on.
Okay. Oh man, look, we have the dump button for a reason.
Yeah,
if we ever say anything, we can't. That's what it's there for.
Okay,
we haven't had to hit it yet.
True.
Well, nope, that's not true. We had Dan on.
Yeah.
Dan we had to hit it.
Yep.
Oh, man. I'm trying to see if he'll come on tomorrow. But he's probably on a golf course right now.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was funny. Okay. From my last pick. This is tough. I've got three really good options over here. I'm gonna go salmon. I love salmon. Buzzer.
Again.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad you like it. It's good for you.
You don't like fish?
It's healthy.
Do you just not like fish?
I'm not a fan of seafood because back in the day, I used to work in the meat department at Marsh, at a grocery store called Marsh, if you didn't know what that was. But every day I would go home smelling like fish, and it just really turned me off of seafood. I was like, I never want to be around it.
That's fair. That's how you know Chick-fil-A is really good. I used to work at Chick-fil-A, and I'm like, I'd go back.
Yeah.
It's good.
Sure. But
I love salmon.
Like grilled, or like, is there a specific way you like it prepared?
I'll eat it grilled. My Amelia makes this really good like baked salmon thing that's really good. I'll eat it grilled. I'll eat it Parmesan crusted. If you go to Longhorn, you can get salmon parm crusted there. Really good stuff. Pretty much any way.
Sure. Just don't bring it to work and warm it up in the microwave and have the whole place smell
we'll
like
let
fish.
Crash do that.
Yeah, he's allowed.
He's allowed. Okay. Did you have any honorable mentions?
I think. Well, I know I said I included chicken on Chick-fil-A, but spicy chicken sandwiches would also qualify in my draft,
It's fair. I like it.
but not from Chick-fil-A, probably from Jaggers.
Oh, okay. I'll
Yeah.
have to try that the next time I go to Jaggers then.
There you go.
I had 2 that I didn't take that I almost took.
Okay.
Eggs.
Eggs are good.
Love eggs.
Yep.
Just when I first moved here and I was broke, I would go to the store. This is not a joke. I would buy 18 eggs. Or no, I'd buy 36 eggs. And I would eat 6 eggs every night for dinner.
Wow.
Because they were super cheap at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like these. We can throw some cheese on them, scramble them up, eat them, and then wash it down with water.
You never got tired of that?
Never got see, I'm weird in this regard. I can eat the same thing every day and have no problem with it.
Okay.
If I like it, obviously.
Sure.
If it's something I don't like, then obviously I don't have a problem with it.
Makes sense.
But no, I can eat the same thing every day. Did it when I was in college. I had quesadillas all the time because they were cheap. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
There you go.
Few comments from the YouTube chat there. IU fan 71's a big fan of king crab legs.
Good. I mean, I like those. That's good.
All right. Somebody's asking if Arnie's Pizza is still around. There is one in Greenwood off of 135, and Arnie's does have some excellent pizza.
I don't even know what that is.
Arnie's restaurant. It's down there by like Target and where
On
Guitar Center
on
is.
135?
I believe it's 135.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to live over by there.
Right
I don't
next to
remember
that one apartment complex. I don't remember what.
Copper Chase?
Could be it.
Or
but
no,
it's,
Devonshire, probably.
that sounds right.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's still one up there. They got some really good wings too, and buffalo chicken wraps.
Okay.
Excellent. All right.
Sounds good to me.
There you go. Good draft, man.
Great draft. Great draft. One more honorable mention, chicken Alfredo. Freaking love chicken Alfredo.
You, dude, out of all the things that you named, I would have guessed you would have said ice cream though.
Yeah, I mean, if I only had ice cream for the rest of my life, I think I do think I would get tired of it. Like at some point. As much as I love it.
You smashed an entire pint of ice cream in like 20 minutes.
Guess what I'm doing? I'm putting some in my backpack when we leave. You laughing? I'm so serious. I'm taking a couple pints home.
That's cool, man. I'm gonna take
Dude,
one too.
I love ice cream. It is, it's like. So I was reading my Bible the other morning, and I was texting with one of my buddies about it. This is the part where Judas betrays Jesus. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't read it yet. And it's the part where like he goes to the religious leaders of the day, and he's like, "I'll betray Jesus for money," you know. So I was texting with my buddy. I was like, what is the thing that they could offer you that would like entice you, you know?
Sure.
And we had a really cool conversation just about sin and that kind of stuff and temptation. But like back in the day, they'd be like, Jonathan, 7 pints of ice cream. Will you betray Jesus? Maybe. That's a lot of good ice cream.
Wow.
Not really, but you know what I mean.
That's the wrong answer, Johnson. All right.
Not really, but you know what I mean. I love ice cream, man. Like it's like, Jonathan, do you want to come do this? Nah, I'm good. And then if you're like, we're gonna have ice cream, I'm like, well,
You should have started
let me
with
see.
that.
Let me see if I can be there.
Yeah, I get it. That's cool, man.
Oh man, but yeah, but at the same time, like that's it for the rest of my life. The problem with ice cream is like it all tastes the same. Like sure, like if you get chocolate versus vanilla, it'll taste a little bit different, but like the texture is always the same. All those things. Whereas with like salmon, you can make it in so many different ways with potatoes,
yeah,
baked, fried, whatever. And so, yeah, a lot of fun. That's why I didn't take chicken Alfredo, because even though I love it, it's like it always tastes the same no matter where you get it from.
I feel like I'd be done with that in like 3 days. Like, yeah, I don't want any more of this. You can just.
Yeah, that's
Rest of my
that's how
life,
I
I
feel
don't know.
about ice cream. Like
Yeah.
9 consecutive meals. I'd be like, you know what?
Yeah,
I don't think I want ice cream
That's
ever
enough.
again.
right.
So there you go. There you go.
Ice cream or cheesecake?
Ice cream. Yeah.
I would have to go cheesecake.
Where do you get your ice cream from?
The store.
Okay. enough.
No,
I don't know if you were like a Handles guy.
No, Handles. This is like the shop?
Yeah.
No. So I was a bigger fan of like frozen yogurt over ice cream, but like I would like to go to like Ritter's or what's Culver's. I like the mixes.
That's
like
not ice cream. That's custard.
All right, well,
sorry. That's what every time I look at Amelia and I say, "Do you want to go get ice cream from Culver?" She says, "Do you mean custard?" I'm like, "No." It's so annoying. I
right.
love her to death, but like, yeah, yeah.
Man, it's cold and it's flavored. It's ice cream. Just leave it alone.
Seriously, like, so you said you like frozen yogurt?
Yes.
Sweet CC's. Are you familiar?
No.
Oh man, really good chain. But no, like that's ice cream.
Okay.
Like I know it's frozen yogurt, but it has the same texture as ice cream. It tastes the same. It has different flavors. I put the same what's it called? Toppings, like same toppings on it.
All right.
It's ice cream.
Okay.
So there you go.
Solid draft right there.
Great.
Now
great
everybody's hungry.
Yeah, we got people in the comments talking about fried salmon patties, really good. So okay, I'm done. Sorry. I mean, look, if I can talk about two things forever, sports and food. So, my bad.
What maybe tomorrow's draft we should do foods that we'll never eat for the rest of our lives.
Like our least favorite food.
Like on the X list. Like let's not ever see this on our plate.
That'll
ever.
take up the rest of the show. It'll just be me complaining.
Fair enough.
About how bland green beans are. Got a good story about that though. So when I was a child, my mom made green beans with everything. I was like, Mom, I don't like this. Well, anyway. So one night, I'm little. I'm like 6. And my dad looks at me and goes, Jonathan, do you know what Dirk Nowitzki's favorite food is? It's like, no, Dad, I got no idea. Green beans. About half a second later, all my green beans were gone. Ate all of them.
It was a trap.
And then as soon as I finished, my dad looks at me, goes, Jonathan, I was just kidding.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Well played.
My family still makes fun of me for that. It came up over the weekend. So there you go. All right. Enough of the food stuff. Giannis got traded to the Miami Heat. Finally. Okay, if you're a Pacer fan, you should be smiling ear to ear about this Giannis trade. Plus, this deal could potentially lead to the Celtics being torn apart. We'll get into all of it in 3 minutes.
may, one day, be a must-listen for sports enthusiasts.
Yeah, and monkeys might fly out of my butt.
Uh-oh.
The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
We've been talking about food for the last 30 minutes because we did a food draft. Welcome into the Real Jonathan Smith Show, where we draft stuff every time there's a draft. It's a lot of fun.
Every time.
We'll do another one tomorrow. We talked about foods that we could eat for the rest of our lives if we could only eat one. And it has sparked quite a bit of conversation. Let me just go ahead and ruin my life for the next 5 minutes. Gritty saying her grandmother let her eat Braunschweiger. I don't think that's how you say that. Apparently that's child abuse. Chris wouldn't tell me how to pronounce it before we got back on the air.
Because it just sounded funny. I think it's Braunschweiger. Like
Braunschweiger.
Like
it's
water
clearly
with a G.
German.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if I just pronounce it very aggressively.
You should Google it real quick and tell me if you would eat it or not. Because I had this when I was a kid too. But I didn't think it was all that bad if you put it like on a cracker or something. It's kind of like a weird meat spread.
It looks like an undercooked hot dog.
Yes, but it's like it spreads like like peanut butter.
It spreads.
Yeah, it's not like a slice of meat. It's a spread.
So instead of slicing the meat, we're spreading the meat out.
Right. Yes, that's accurate. You put it on a cracker or something.
It's a liver sausage.
I didn't think.
I think like Braunschweiger more than I like a liver sausage. Ugh.
Anyway, I had to share that with you.
You mean
thanks, Gritty?
You mean the thing that struggles to process alcohol? We're eating that? Bad.
Yeah, in small doses. You're not like eating one roll in one sitting.
No one's like, hey, chef, let me get a Braunschweiger sandwich.
It's probably something that you'd see like on a charcuterie board, like with crackers and pepperoni and cheese and stuff. But anyway.
Gritty says it didn't spread. It's sliced like bologna.
No, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but like it was in like the Oscar Mayer kind of looked like a giant sausage or a bigger sausage.
Yeah. Why is bologna spelled Bologna? I've never understood that.
I don't have the answer for that.
I don't either. But
anyway. You know what? That's what like hot dogs are. It's just rolled up bologna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on.
All
Sports.
right. Welcome into the Real Jonathan Smith Show, where we've gone off the rails, which happens every third hour of the show. Giannis got traded to the Miami Heat. Finally happened. I grew up in church, stayed in church. A lot of church references on the show today. And I'll never forget being a kid and my mom looking at me and my siblings as we were running around with our friends, making jokes, doing those things, saying, hey, it's time for us to go. And then we would say, okay, Mom, because we were good kids for the most part. And we would head for the door. And my mom would see one of her friends, and she would stop and talk for 15 to 20 minutes. And all the while, I'd be standing there thinking, hey, Mom, do you remember when you said that we were leaving? Is that actually going to happen? 'Cause if not, I'm going to go play freeze tag with my friends or something, you know? And that's how I think everyone felt about the Giannis trade until the news broke last night as soon as I finished prep. I had a great, Giannis didn't get traded bit that I was going to do. Completely ruined. Thanks, Bucks and Heat. But first he wanted to leave, and then he wanted to stay. So he didn't get traded at the trade deadline during the season. Sunday, there were reports that he was going to be gone in 48 hours. And, congratulations to the Bucks, I guess, because that is what happened. So the Miami Heat finally got their guy. And I'm glad they did. I think the Bucks made a mistake in the trade partner that they chose as well. I would have taken the Celtics deal if I was the Bucks. But hey, the Bucks wanted a bunch of nothing really. Here are the details of the trade. Giannis and Bobby Portis to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, who the Bucks are actively shopping right now. Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparis Yakushionis. Chris, do you want to give that name a go? I know I'm saying it right.
Casper. I give up.
Okay.
No,
Three first-round picks, including the number 13 pick tonight, one pick swap, and 1 second rounder. Let's start with the Miami side of this. Miami basically just bought a massive multi-million-dollar mansion, but had to sell their furniture, car, and their kitchen appliances just to afford the down payment. Sure, the house looks incredible from the outside, but they're sleeping on the floor in sleeping bags they had to buy from Dollar General. Miami completely gutted their roster for a really good player in Giannis. For the Pacers, I'm glad they sent him to Miami. Bam Adebayo, Giannis, and Heat culture doesn't exactly scare me as much as Jason Tatum, Giannis, and all those role players would have. Facing Miami now is like fighting a heavyweight boxer who doesn't have a corner crew. If you can survive the big punches, they're going to get exhausted. Facing Boston with Giannis would have been like trying to fight a swarm of hornets. Also, since Jaylen Brown's name was publicly reported in the trade, here come all the Jaylen Brown trade rumors. So I've got a team for that here at the end. But depth has been a theme of the past two finals. The Pacers and Thunder, 2 finals ago, were deep teams. The Knicks and Spurs this year were deep teams, going 8 or 9 deep. The Miami Heat are no longer a deep team. And they forfeited the 13th overall pick in this year's draft to add the depth that they now need. They sent away 3 of their top 8 players and a lottery pick. In exchange, they got 31-year-old superstar Giannis, who's had injuries pile up over the past couple of seasons. Trading for Giannis right now is like buying a high-end luxury sports car with 150,000 miles on it. It's like, it's beautiful sitting in the driveway. When you go get beers with your buddies, you can brag about it. Like, hey, man, just bought a new Corvette. Pretty cool. But then you drive it and the engine makes a couple funny noises and you're like, oh, it's not great. That's Giannis right now. Also, the Heat got Bobby Portis, who's also 31. And while he's a good player, if he's your best player off the bench, then you need a little more juice than that. Okay, the Heat don't have a backup center right now. So congrats on Giannis. But I'm not sure the Miami Heat are a title contender in an Eastern Conference with the Pacers, Celtics, Knicks, and Pistons. Also, the Wizards are going to be good. Why they decided to pay Trae Young that much money is beyond me. Quick side tangent here. I do not like Trae Young. I don't, in terms of like the way that he plays basketball, I don't think that he's really a winning player. And his new deal is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. I'm trying to find the details on it right now. Because it's like a 4-year deal where he's making, okay, here it is. So Trae Young's contract, here's what it is. So this next season, he's going to make $47 million. The following season, he'll make $51 million. The 28-29 season, he'll make $54.9 million. And then the 2029-2030 season, he has a player option of $58.7 million. Player option. I'm reporting right now, June 23rd, 2026. It is official. Trae Young is going to pick up that player option because he's not worth that much money. They drastically overpaid. Okay. Anyway, the Wizards are going to be good as well, bringing in AJ DeBonta likely with the number 1 overall pick. Okay, so it's a tough Eastern Conference, and I don't know if Miami is really going to be built to go and win games in this conference. And again, if I was the Bucks, I would have taken the Celtics offer. The Celtics offered Jaylen Brown and 2 first-round picks. It's 1 less pick, but the Bucks are going to have to get incredibly lucky to find a player as good as Jaylen Brown. He's 29. Okay, if you're just going to flip Tyler Hero, I don't know why you couldn't have just flipped Jaylen Brown and gotten even more. But hey, it's fine. So you trade, they could have flipped Jaylen Brown for more picks if that's really what they wanted. Okay, so they potentially could have gotten 2 firsts from Boston, then flipped Jaylen Brown for 3 more picks and some young players, because I think he would have gotten you a pretty similar return as what Giannis did. Okay, so there's that. We'll kind of see how it goes from there for Boston. But instead, the Bucks decided to take a bunch of scraps from the Heat. Milwaukee chose to trade a crisp pristine $100 bill for a handful of crumpled fives, some loose quarters, and a couple of expired gift cards. Tyler Hero's a good player. He's the best player that Milwaukee got in this trade. He's a one-time All-Star. He won Sixth Man of the Year once. Everyone else that they got is a rotation player at best. Oh, they got Khalil Ware. Khalil Ware's a nice player. Probably never going to be an all-star, though. He'll be a nice stretch five who can protect the rim. That's it. Also, since they added Khalil Ware, going to be very interesting to see what they do with Miles Turner. He's hard to trade because once you trade him, his contract goes up. He has like a trade kicker in his contract. So, we'll see what happens with Miles Turner. Okay? Personally, I would have preferred to get the superstar Jaylen Brown and 2 first-round picks than one solid player and Tyler Hero, scraps, and 3 first-round picks from Miami. Okay, so we'll see how all this plays out, but I don't think Miami's close to being a title contender, and I don't really think I don't think Milwaukee really got anything back that was great. I don't really think there's any real winner here. Like, congratulations, Miami. Like you picked up more name recognition. You're going to play in a couple more nationally televised games. But ultimately, you got an older player with recent injury struggles that's going to be asked to do everything like he was in Milwaukee. They don't have a second offensive option that I love. Like their second best offensive player is going to be Norman Powell if he resigns. He may not. Even if he does, I don't really love that. So I'm interested to see also how is Giannis going to look next to Bam Adebayo, who can't space the floor. I have a lot of questions about how the Miami Heat are going to put this roster together. Then for Milwaukee, they're going to be bad, which the Blazers are happy about because they have their picks. Also, the Bucks don't have a star. They could have had one with Jaylen Brown. And speaking of Jaylen Brown, the loser in all of this are the Celtics. Boston basically just accidentally texted their current girlfriend a text that was meant for their ex, and now they have to try and survive the fallout. Jaylen Brown's not going to be happy that his name was in the trade. It already seemed like he wanted out. Now I'm willing to bet that it's going to happen. Chris, what you got?
I was just going to ask if you agree with the latest odds that DraftKings released, because the Heat now is plus 600 to win the East, and that bumped the Pistons and the Pacers down. Pacers are plus 1,200 and 5th for finishing the East next year. What does that odd number look like to you?
I think that's insane.
Yeah?
Yeah, in terms of value, right? Because, like, there's 2 ways to bet sports. One, you can bet value, which is like this could happen and has better odds than this thing that I think is going to happen. Or you can just bet to be right. If I was betting value, you said the Pacers are plus 1,200. What are the Pistons?
Plus 1,000.
Okay. I think I would just bet the Pacers at plus 1,200 to win the East because they're going to be good. The Zoo pick up is really big. I think Tyrese Halliburton's going to be fine. I think he's going to be a really good player. Not really a player that was overly dependent on his explosiveness. So I think he'll be just fine. The Heat, I would be very surprised if they were better than the Pacers. If they're better than the Pacers, it'll mean that someone else got hurt for Indiana. Because I mean, like this roster for Miami, like I get it. Like the starting 5 is going to be really good, and they're all going to walk out on the floor. And everyone's going to be like, "Oh wow, look at all these guys. They got Giannis and Bam Adebayo. Did you know that he scored 83 points in a game one time? And they've got Andrew Wiggins and they've got Davion Mitchell." But right now, I'm assuming DraftKings is just assuming that Norman Powell is going to come back. I don't think Miami has the money for him. And Norman Powell's a really good player, really nice player. So like if he comes back, then like maybe, but I don't think he's going to. Which means we're throwing 2nd round pick Pele Larson in there at shooting guard, who I like, solid player, but not really moving the needle for you. Again, they don't have a backup center. That's kind of important. So I think that's insane. Plus 6, no way. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. I want a little bit of a tangent there.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
absurd. What do you think?
I mean, I agree with you. I think the Pacers will finish in the top 3. I mean, the only other teams ahead of them right now, I think might be the Knicks, and they've
Yeah.
gotten past the Knicks, and then there's the Celtics, and they've gotten past the Celtics. So I think we're in the top 3, definitely ahead of Detroit and Miami. But remember, I told you the conspiracy thing of a few months ago, because Detroit fell where they did in the playoffs. We're going to see a Pistons Pacers East Finals next year. Those are my picks.
We'll see. I think I like the Pistons more than you do. Like, they did just win 64 games or whatever it was. And the other thing to remember is, like, the rosters we have now are going to change. Like, if the Pistons traded for Tyler Hero, which I think is a real possibility, I would like them even more than I do now. I think New York's going to be really good. Like, I know everyone is like, Pacers have beaten them twice, which is true. And I'm not saying that they're absolutely not as good as the Knicks, because again, the Pacers have beaten them twice. But both of the times that the Pacers have beaten them, the first time they beat them, everyone for New York got hurt. Like, OG Anunoby was like limping around. Jalen Brunson got banged up, all that stuff. Last year, they flat out beat them. Okay. But they've changed head coaches since then. And Mike Brown's a better head coach than Tibbs is. It's just a reality of it. So it's really weird. Like, the Eastern Conference might be better than the West next year. I don't think that's some crazy thing to say. So we'll see. We'll see. The East is not as soft as it once was, but we'll see. NBA draft going on tonight. I know we all want the sexy pick on draft night, but I think history shows that reliability is what actually keeps you from losing half of your stuff in a divorce. So coming up, I'm going to tell you which top 4 prospect is the ultimate safe bet and why his combine agility time should have opposing teams or teams in general, a little higher on him than what they seem to be. We'll get into that in 3 minutes.
The best takes? Maybe. The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
The NBA draft is tonight, and I'm telling you right now, Cam Boozer is going to be the best player in this draft class. He's not going to go number one, but he should. Sexiness isn't everything, and when you look at the way that this draft is going to go, AJ DeBonce is going to go number one, and so much of this stuff is about the way that guys look athletically. And I get it. It's important. You have to be a great athlete to play in the NBA. Okay, it is a requirement. With that being said, Cam Boozer's a great athlete. Like he is a great enough athlete to play in the NBA. That is just reality. Okay, he moves incredibly well and has a 35-inch vertical at 250 pounds. Like, come on now, crazy. Okay, of all of the top four prospects, he is the most fluid mover in the draft. He makes basketball look easier than any of those other guys do because he's a 39% three-point shooter. He's a good passer. He's a good defender. He rebounds at a high level. But the knock on him is he's not super athletic. Okay, even though when you look at his combine numbers between the shuttle run and the lane run, he tests better than the other top four prospects. Okay, now all three of those guys jumped higher than Cam Boozer did, and that's great. But in the modern NBA, do you know what's more important than anything else? The ability to move. And again, Cam Boozer at 250 pounds is the most fluid mover of the top four prospects. I would also argue he's the best basketball player of the bunch. I think he's the best passer. He shot 39% from three this last year. He brought the ball up the floor for Duke because his brother couldn't whenever they were pressed. He was a double-digit rebounder. He averaged 22 points per game, scored in a multitude of ways. I get it. He doesn't have a 40-inch vertical, but everything else I would take him at then over everybody. He's got a nice frame. He's got great size. He's got great feel. Okay, explosiveness is sexier than lateral quickness, but lateral quickness is more important. Okay, like you can play in the NBA for a decade and and score below the rim, but as soon as you can't move laterally, you're done. Okay, everyone wants a sexy girlfriend or wife. I would argue that that's important, but it's not more important than having a girlfriend or wife that you get along with. Okay, that's more important. Obviously, you would like your girlfriend or wife to be both sexy and easy to get along with. That's how mine is. But one will keep you from losing half your stuff in a divorce. Obviously, the ability to get along with them. Okay, Cameron Boozer isn't as explosive as the guys who are going to get drafted in front of him, but he moves better. And when you look at the best players in the league, they all move well. They don't have to be overly explosive. Like take the Pacers, for instance. Aaron Nesmith and Obi Toppin are really the only two explosive athletes on their roster. Meanwhile, their two best players, Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam, they're not explosive athletes, but they're both incredibly quick. They both move well. They can both shoot, and they're both good passers. And those two guys might lead the Pacers to another NBA Finals next year. So I'm telling you, don't fall in love with the sexiness of a 42-inch vertical. Fall in love with the reliability of a good jump shooter, rebounder, passer, and an elite and fluid mover. That is Cam Boozer. And the Grizzlies, who have the third pick, I think that they're going to get Boozer. So congratulations to them on landing who I think is the best player in this draft. Now let's get to the best moment of the show. Time to find out what we learned today on the Real Jonathan Smith Show.
All right, class. What did we learn today?
Setting high standards for the best part of the show. Best part of the show is the entire show, Jonathan.
Fair enough.
All right. Here's a list of statements that we have learned today on today's show. We learned that Jonathan once questioned his faith when someone enticed him with 7 pints of ice cream. Glad to see that you didn't.
Yeah. Didn't crumble.
Jonathan hates going to Buc-ee's because there are people there. That's a true statement.
Yeah.
We learned that soccer teams do not bring 30 to 50 children out on the field before the game to be sacrificed.
They do not.
All right. We learned that the secret key to life is having a short opinion unless you're on the radio.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
We learned that Jonathan gets frustrated when breaking news comes through while playing video games.
Yep.
We also learned that a family tradition in Jonathan's family apparently is jumping off the top of a refrigerator.
Yep.
All right. And we also learned that we spent a lot of time talking about the supplemental draft that was never going to happen anyway.
We did. We got a 2 days of content out of it.
Yeah,
It's
we
awesome.
did. And last but not least, if Jonathan was had a popular sports moniker, it would be Jonathan the Ice Cream Man Smith, and he would deliver ice cream to kids by jumping off the refrigerator of an ice cream truck.
Okay.
That one was special. I like that one.
That's funny.
And that's what we learned
That's good.
today on the Real Jonathan Smith Show. Anything that you learned that I left out there?
No, not that I can think of.
I like that music though.
It is good music. It's a great way to end the show. All right. Thank you for that, Chris. As always, we'll be back on the air tomorrow, noon to 3, reacting to the first round of the NBA draft. Dan Dockets joins the show at 1 o'clock tomorrow as well. So make sure you're tuned up and ready to go for that. We will talk to you tomorrow starting at noon.